Wow. What a night. What a day. What a week. What a couple, 2.5, 3 years. Holy crap. This feels good. I gotta say, this feels good. There's been a lot of stress. We said de-stress, don't have a lot of stress, but I can feel it coming off me right now. This is just it's a celebration. You know what happened today? Let's just get to it. We got the three M's here. Let's bring up attorney Mark Bederow. He's been on a lot of shows today. I'm dying to hear what he has to say about this result. I think he kept a lot of us even keeled, and a lot of people said, "I need to hear from Bederow. I need to be calmed down." We walked off the ledge. Thank God we had Bederow. What's up, attorney Bederow? Mark,
How are you? Anything interesting happened today?
nothing. Nothing. Wow. I mean, what do we even say? What do you say right now? It feels
Um,
good. I gotta say, it feels better than I expected.
well, it should. At the same time, it's a tragedy. This should have never happened. This was never a viable criminal case. It never should have been brought. There shouldn't have been one trial, let alone two. So I think it was always destined to end this way, but with much stress to a lot of people, much heartache to a lot of people, much financial pain to a lot of people, including taxpayers, by the way. Um, I just think that as an ex-prosecutor, you just say, what the hell were they doing? They had so many signs to avoid this. They ignored them all. They just kept coming. You remember we talked about zombie prosecutors, and today, finally, the zombie can't get back up. He's gone.
We planning to play clips. I had everything set up, but then you guys popped up, and I just got so excited. I didn't bring my clips up. I just was like, "We're going live. We're going live. F it. Let's do this." We should talk about just the reaction from. This is what got me so like the courtroom reaction. Did you see some of this today?
I did. I watched the
Outside the courtroom, outside the courtroom too.
Well, I watched the verdict with Melanie, so they had it on whatever channel was she had, and the first thing that jumped out was obviously watching it from inside the courtroom. You could hear the outside the courtroom from inside the courtroom, and the amount of people there, the amount of supporters. Um, it's impressive. I mean, you don't see this kind of thing, but on the other hand, you don't usually see this kind of injustice and this kind of misguided and ill-conceived prosecution. And it's really not that surprising when you look at it in those terms as to why there would be such a groundswell of people who would pick this up. Who, I mean, they obviously don't know Karen and her family, but it doesn't matter. She's a proxy for injustice. She is, the poster child, at least certainly in Norfolk County right now and elsewhere, of what can happen to somebody who gets mixed up in a situation. And you have prosecutors, cops who are not professional, not competent, running amok, unchecked, power hungry, perhaps corrupt, and they just keep going and going like zombies and end up. And this is what happens. You create a movement, and it's amazing. I mean, this is a case where a woman is charged with murder of a police officer who's dead on another police officer's lawn. Most people are not going to feel sympathetic to the alleged killer. I don't even want to say that anyway. There's nothing. She's not a defendant. She's just Karen at this point, in a legal sense. So this is unbelievable to see. And, as recently as a week or so, you saw your typical online provocateurs, trolls, rock dwellers sitting there saying, "Where is everybody? Where is everybody? I thought there was this." And they're right there. And they're loud, they're proud, and they're happy because justice was served.
Great people too, because when I was there for the 2 days that I was there recently, Friday and yesterday, they were silenced. They were completely following the rules as much as they could, not to protest, not to raise their voices. But today, after the verdict came out, they knew those rules no longer applied and they could actually speak out.
You do
And it
whatever
was
you
just
want.
amazing to hear them. They followed the rules, they did it the right way, and they were heard just by their presence, just being there day after day after day. And then today, I'm going to play this, and then we're going to bring up Mazza Media. I want everyone to hear this if you haven't heard this. This is what attorney Mark Randazza, posted on his X. This is one of the chants that was happening today. Damn, it's not working. You can't hear that, can you, Mark?
I can't hear it. I can see it.
Yeah. Oh, that's too bad. We do have a neutral. It's weird because you can start to hear it, but it doesn't come through. I'll try that later. Unfortunately, I guess that bombed. Sorry about that. Let's bring
Sorry.
up Mazza Media, and we'll try to get some video up because there's a lot of video going around about that audience, that crowd that was there, and the chants that they were chanting. There was some chants about Judge Bev, which I thought was just like, wow, it is wild. Mazza, what do you got for us today? We're bringing you up on the show.
I really wish I had the day off, but I really wish I could have been out there when all this was happening. That's all I got to say. I heard about it and I was thrilled, and it didn't really set in until after work was over, and I was walking back to the door after getting the mail, and I suddenly just went, yeah, at the top of my lungs, and was worried I might lose my voice. But I have a quick little 1 to 2 minute message statement to read for everyone that I've kind of written for everybody here. So I'll keep it brief, but I'm going to read this out. I just think it kind of sums up exactly how I'm feeling, Mike. So on January 29, 2022, Officer Chief of the Boston Police Department was murdered. In the fallout of this, Karen Reed found herself facing the fight of her life when learning she had been framed. On June 18th, 2025, Karen Reed was declared not guilty on all charges that carried true consequences. Today is a day for Karen Reed, her family, her friends, and her thousands of supporters worldwide. It's also a great day for the United States of America, as an innocent woman didn't go to prison for a crime she did not commit. I first began following the story in April 2023 when reading an article posted by Aiden Carney on Turtle Boy News. I watched the video within it of Karen Reed and attorney Alan Jackson speaking to the media proclaiming her innocence. In the months that followed, I, like so many, never could have imagined I would become so invested in this story. I never could have imagined fighting along so many people proclaiming her innocence either. I found myself participating in countless shows, standouts, fundraisers, etc. Today, good triumphed over evil. Truth triumphed over lies. Facts triumphed over fiction. Corruption was defeated, maybe not entirely, but to a degree it was a win. Karen Reed didn't deserve to go through what she went through. Still, she accepted the situation and made a stand. She won. She was victorious. I'd like to personally congratulate Karen Reed on her victory today. She is a true warrior. I'd like to personally congratulate Karen Reed's entire defense team, David Yannetti, Alan Jackson, Eliza Little, and Robert Alessi, and of course all the other staff that they had. The most dedicated, determined, and locked in and caring defense team ever assembled. I'd like to congratulate Bill and Janet Reed, the most supportive parents anyone in this world could ever ask for. I'd like to congratulate Nathan Reed, the ultimate brother who was always by his sister's side. I'd like to congratulate Kelly Reed, a cousin like no other. I'd like to congratulate every member of the Reed family tree that gets to celebrate today. We saw people come together to support Karen like never before. We saw people like Aiden Carney launch an unmatched social media campaign that inspired countless content creators to speak out. Nick and Jenna Rocco setting up countless fundraisers and raising incredible amounts of money for Karen. We saw attorneys like you, Mr. Bederow, speaking out. We saw boots on the ground. We saw standouts. We saw it all. Come the end of the trial, we all prevailed, each and every one of us. It was an incredible road to victory, often a rocky road, but we soldiered on forward. Today, we are no longer free Karen Reed, but Karen Reed freed. The future ahead for Karen is now unknown. The future is always unknown. I look forward to supporting Karen in any and all civil suits that may come her way in this unknown future. Congratulations once more, Karen Reed. Sincerely, Mark from Mazza Media.
Yeah, well said, Mazza. It feels so good. So many people to thank. Just I gotta say, all the YouTubers, Aiden especially. Man, he took so many slings and arrows, and now the focus on this show, big focus, is going to be as much as we can support Aiden. And I hope everybody that supported Karen Reed is now going to support Aiden no matter what. I don't want to hear anything, no if or buts about it.
Me too. I'm very in favor of everyone supporting him financially.
Yeah. His attorney. We should disclose that for people that don't know. Mark Bederow is one of Aiden Carney's two attorneys. The other one is Tim Bradle. And I like both those guys, right? I like them both.
Yeah, no, Tim's great. Listen, we have like what feels like 37 indictments to go. So yeah, no, all support's appreciated.
Yeah. Congratulations to the Reed family. It's so well said. Like that's what I instantly thought about is the mom and the dad and the brother and the sister, Liz too, and Kelly and just everybody, Nick Rocco. Like I just microdots. I can keep going. There's so many. Howie Carr. I got on Howie Carr today. That was amazing. I just can't believe I got on Howie Carr's show today. That was fun. And just him and Grace Curley, Bederow. Who do you guys want to thank? Let's go through our thank yous tonight. I love doing this because the audience too, like all the viewers, and I just gotta say, this has been the ride of my life. I'm so happy I was a small part of this. It just feels good. It feels good. It feels like we brought people together too. And this thing that we had, Rita Lombardi. I see people in the chat. I want to hear from the chat too. Who do you want to thank? Mark, who do you want to thank tonight? Who do you want to? Melanie Little, another great one.
I think about that. I don't know that I'm literally thanking people, but who I appreciate what they've been through. I mean, again, I feel like my role is a little different. I'm not part of a movement. I want to be very clear. I'm just a lawyer who doesn't like injustice and was presented with this case, looked at it, and was just appalled and aghast and just felt disgusted by what I saw. Obviously, you have to start with Karen in terms of to get through this the way she did mentally is very rare. People are charged with very serious crimes. They're facing, life in prison. It's on a public stage, which makes it even worse. Every move you make is digested. People take screenshots of you at inopportune moments and post them online to try to embarrass you, whatever it is. And she persevered and was always calm. And, if you know her, and, you guys do, and many others do as well. And if you saw her in the context of fighting the case, I've never seen anyone charged with a crime who is as personally invested in the nuts and bolts, the meat and potatoes of defending the case, not just, you wonderful lawyers help me. So I think, you have to start with her. And then, of course, I'm biased. I go to the lawyers, right? To put up with this for 2.5 years, or in David's case, however long it was from the jump. That's why I think you saw him so emotional today, more than anyone else, actually, just what he's been through. But to have the wherewithal, the stomach, and the battery power to just carry on through this, in particular after the mistrial of a year ago. I mean, if ever there was a moment to just get out of Dodge, that would have been it, both in terms of mental health, exhaustion, other matters, financially. And I remember at the time, there were a lot of people who were saying, oh, there's no way, that Alan will come back because of California or money or this. And you may remember this. We probably talked about that and said, what do you think? So there's no chance that someone like him is not going to come back. People who do this at the level that he does it and are wired in the way that all of us type are wired, they're coming back. And you're going to have to kill them to make them stop. And they came back and they won. So I think you have to, credit them, her family, my God, especially, Bill and Janet, who both of you know are
awesome.
They're the nicest people I think I've ever met in my life. I mean, I mean that sincerely. You just could not be nicer. And, they've had to put up with a lot of shit too, with nonsense about being, somewhat involved in a public trial, which makes it so much harder. And the strength that, the way they had the fortitude and the resolve to just kind of so stoically sit through this and put up with this, but just kind of be the moral compass and the backbone from the family side, the rest of the family. I mean, Nathan there all the time, Kelly, of course, who did perhaps more than anyone else when it comes to, family fundraising, rallying, whatever.
Popcorn sales.
Yeah, I mean, that's all part of the fundraising and whatever. Those are the people I think the most. And then the jurors.
The jurors kicked ass. I gotta say, these jurors, they
did the right thing. And you're going to get a lot of criticism from whiners, and who we're talking about and all of that. And they're going to claim something was fixed and this and that. And let me tell you what really kneecaps that argument when you want to crap on jurors. They deliberated for 4.5 days. That's a long time. They never once said we were deadlocked. They worked at it. For some people, they took too long. I get it. They asked a few questions. They were unclear on the law, a real shock in light of everything that went on with this case. And they stuck at it, and they did it. And they were so sincere to the process that, they did take a conviction on a low-level misdemeanor, saying, all right, there was some evidence of drinking followed by driving, but we're able to separate that from, the car accident and the serious crime. So I think you had jurors who saw it and gave very careful attention to it. And then I think other than that, it's just the overall supporters, the people, you guys and others who raise money, shed light on this, that helped raise money. Even if lawyers work for free, many other people can't or won't. There were so many expenses. And also, the biggest disinfectant to corruption is light. And so, guys like all of you, and there's a million others who help shed light on that can only help. It leads to attention. It leads to notice. It leads to all kinds of things. Probably going to result in a change of district attorney finally as a result of this. And, I obviously have to single them out, not because I'm shilling for fundraising or anything, but, a client. The reality is we're not sitting here talking about this if he's not doing what he did. And, he's a controversial figure. Some people like it. Some people don't like it. Other people may get tormented in between, but it doesn't really matter. And what I'm talking about, none of this would have happened if he didn't shine the brightest of lights on this and call attention to it. And in addition to doing some serious investigation, finding out things that the cops didn't, that's shocking. That's just shocking that he was able to do that. The police didn't. I'm probably leaving out 100 people, which is why you should never ask these kinds of questions. And I'm looking over periodically and I'm seeing what about Joe Flipperhead? Yes, he gets props for being the funniest, in my view, YouTube internet guy in this whole process. From day one, without even knowing who the hell he was, he's a schmuck from Philadelphia. I feel bad for him. But really witty, really funny, but also sharp as a tack, right? And there are other people who are, online sleuths even, who are just smarter than smart, okay? Olivia
Lambo.
Who is probably, of anyone involved in this case, bar none, I thought was the smartest analyst and aware of every fact, of everything. you'd be surprised what incredible things she found out that might have made their way through various channels to end up to being put to great use. There's probably a lot of behind the scenes stories that someday will come out about a lot of people who did that. But the point is, the list is endless. I'm forgetting people.
Let me add a couple more. And Microdots is another one that's like kind of an investigator, even though he does the videos. He unearths stuff too. Auntie Debb is fun, obviously, but there's a lot of other ones out there too. Yeah, go ahead.
Now I have to amend my answer because now I have funniest people on the internet or YouTube because I'm the biggest Auntie Debb fan out there. You need to know that. I think Jimmy is really, really funny. Like, I love what he does.
No one is funnier than Auntie Debb when it comes to the Karen Reed. The free Karen Reed freed movement now. So he's a riot. Oh, he's so funny.
Yeah, no, and I mean, look, there are so many people. We're forgetting all of them. I get it.
I want to show more out. I want to show more out. I love it. Like, because there's so many people that deserve
Olivia Lambeau.
Really do. Yeah. How about like Runkle and the Bailey? You know him. I had Kirk from UnCivil Law call in last night. He's amazing. The big one, Andrea Burkhart. I just love her. She's
the lawyers that cover this. Quote unquote full time. If that's, I don't fully understand how Lawtube works, but the lawyers I know anyway. Obviously, Melanie is. I have a soft spot for Melanie. Ian, obviously, all the other ones. Andrea, very brilliant people, really brilliant, and just lawyers with opinions, calling it like it is. Oh my God, I forgot Nurse Kim. See, you can't do this. I can never.
Nurse Kim. Yeah, that's why we're gonna be here a while. We're gonna go. We got plenty of time. What are we else gonna do tonight?
She's gonna kill me.
I talk about Nurse Kim. We love Nurse Kim. Nurse Kim is amazing. Congrats to Nurse Kim. She's been on this. She took a lot of heat. I freaking love Nurse Kim.
She is unbelievable. But again, the lawyers. I know a lot of them who we talk about this kind of stuff. Just brilliant. People who I would, somebody's talking about Martin. I would never know who he is. He's just, a lawyer in Detroit with a YouTube channel. Turns out he's a really, really sharp guy. Really enjoyed talking to him. Andrea, we mentioned. I could go on and on. Peter, who I think I'm gonna.
Peter, lawyer,
lawyer, yep.
Do a wrap up tomorrow, where I think we're going to shoot on all of this. I'm sure I'll have some very sharp elbowed comments for the bad people involved in this. Interestingly enough, I don't know any quote unquote lawyers who cover this or are YouTubers or whatever, Lawtubers who actually felt the other way. I forgot the Mazza. See, this is terrible. I can't do this.
That's all right. So many.
It's all right. That's what we got.
That's right.
In there. We got plenty of time. We got
a whole show.
We're not going to miss anyone. Our chat's not going to let us miss anyone. That's what I love.
I do have to say though, before I stop with this, as far as the lawyers, I have the specialists of soft spots, obviously, for the team who did what they do. It was an honor to almost be part of that and to share in that. But they have seen for a short period of time how they do things, what they're doing, how dedicated they are, how focused. They deserve all the accolades they get in terms of what they did, how they saw this through, how they fought on, and just, let's be honest, as far as lawyering goes, they clobbered the DA's office. Okay. They absolutely clobbered them, and all credit to them for winning, because they did justice. And as a lawyer, the best thing you could ever do is win a case. Now I forgot Will's. This is terrible.
It's all right. Too many. Just say everybody.
Them all in. They're all getting We're going to be here all night. Brandy Churchwell, another great one. Broken Baker. He's a great grifter. He taught me a lot.
He didn't make the grifting list, if you recall. He was kind of sad back
He got upset. We got him up there, though.
I do have to give a very, very, very special shout out to Wendy Murphy.
Yes.
Because for all the people who tell me I'm so glad you're a part of this, and that, I mean, it really is humbling for why everyone does that. I mean, it's very nice to hear, and thank you. But none of this would happen but for the absolute lunacy and idiocy and just offensive nature of Wendy Murphy and her legal takes. And that is entirely what led me, frankly, Mike, to you to call me and say there's some lawyer who's like, you know, punching down on Wendy Murphy, get him on.
Serious. He's a serious character. And I was like, oh, this is what we need. This is what we need. And then you came on and I was like, damn, we're set.
But you the other thing that's really interesting though is, and I don't know if you remember this, if either one of you guys remember this. You asked me that first day, what do you think about this case? And I said, I don't really know. I mean, I've heard about it, but I don't even have an opinion because I don't really know. And so I studied up, and it took me about, a few days, and you may or may not recall, I remember this. The next time we chatted is when I went on my first, I guess, rant, I don't know, and said, I can't believe this case was even presented to a grand jury. What are we doing preparing for trial? And I have to give Mazza a special shout out, of course, because one of the funniest things, and of course I knew you a little bit by this time, but I didn't know your, very humorous nature, is you put some funny music to the video of everyone's favorite retired FBI agent creeping around 34 Fairview.
Yeah.
And if I'm correct, I believe it was like the Pink Panther. I think.
Yeah,
And
it might have been, yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
It was. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, so I mean, again, there's a lot of people, but
yeah, I got to say the boots on the ground too. The people like Rita and the Sweeneys, Tom CPU, Boston Mike, Brandy. There's been so many of them. I just there's been a little bit of friction among them. I hope everyone just comes together, like celebrate. No friction. This has been amazing. This movement.
I would say this: celebrate, take a week off because you all deserve it, but come back, recharge, or re-energize because somebody else has 3 trials and is fighting the machine and is going to need it too. And I hope people remember that.
Definitely. Rita Lombardi, Dina's another one. There's been so many. I'm going to leave people out. That's where I'm getting worried about.
The Sweeneys. Dennis and
our
Brenda
friend,
Sweeney, yep.
Who's the moderator in our chat, Scott McGinnis is another one. Neil. Yep. There's so many people like that.
Yep.
You see them every time I was out, you'd see the same crew of people
Lauren,
there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lauren Sacco, yep.
People who've gotten charged too, like the Canton Nine.
Yeah.
More recently, Erica. There's been so many people who have stepped up. It's just been.
Yeah.
We're gonna hear her all night talking about people. This is what I want to do. It's just just talk about, because this has been a ride. Like I don't know. I don't even know what to say today because I never thought this would happen. It was just like this was like I was expecting, honestly, another hung jury. I don't know about you guys, but I was just like, this is deja vu. This is deja vu. I know, and Mark kept saying it. No, we're getting one. You even predicted yesterday, I think, that there would be a verdict. You were like a half a day off.
Yeah, this was always on the indicted charges anyway. An acquittal case. I mean, when they did add the lesser offense, I think there was a strong argument for acquittal on that. In fact, if that case had been tried as a standalone DWI OUI, she would have been acquitted, I believe. But even adding that, it doesn't include the car accident, obviously, but anything that matters here, which of course is whether the SUV collided with John O'Keefe, causing his death. It was always just a matter of time. There was never going to be a situation where 12 people were going to agree that she's guilty. Never one, as it turns out, at least with a final verdict. And the answer is very simple, because there's no evidence. There never has been, not credible evidence, not with the burden of proof, not with all of this. And it's going to be really interesting to see where Karen goes from here, deciding what to do, not just in life, but I mean in terms of potential litigation. That's a conversation for another day. And also going on the offensive in terms of, I want my name back.
And her job back.
I remember very well, I mean, you remember this vividly, in 2007 when we tried the Linda Vecchio case. That was the FBI agent, actually supervisory special agent, who was charged with 4 counts of murder for killing mafia informants, and it was just horrible. And he got smeared and raked through the coals, and he got acquitted. And when we had a large press conference in the office after, his comment was the famous comment that somebody else had made years before in some federal corruption case when he was acquitted, was, "Where do I go to get my reputation back? You drag me through the coals, you smear me." And I don't have any inside information or know anything, but in hearing what Karen said today after about how she wants justice for John O'Keefe more than anyone, and all of that, and about her role in this or not, suggests to me that maybe she will be aggressive in letting people know and be educated that I didn't kill him, okay, I didn't hit him. And she has a right to do that if that's what she chooses to do, because at this point, other than the civil case over the bar stuff, she has every right to do whatever she needs to do to hold anyone accountable for smearing her, wronging her, and destroying her reputation.
So the OUI, and do you think that's a reason she might contest it?
I would not assume they wouldn't appeal that. If there's a basis to do it, I would. Now, again, she may very well not care. I'm not suggesting she doesn't. I mean, it does feel like kind of just that little thing, that little speck of dirt you want to wipe away. But also bear in mind, there is a lawsuit against her, which is mostly focused on alleged intoxication. It would be better to have that gone. If there is a 1983 action to bring, a conviction for an unrelated DWI is not going to preclude you from bringing that lawsuit, but you're in a better position if you don't have that. And I also think she stands on principle as it comes to this. And if there's a way to try to wipe that out, God bless her. She should. If that's what she
ask you a question. Can I ask you a question, Mark? There's been a lot of people on X that have been anti-Karen Readers that have basically accused Karen Read of murdering John O'Keefe. Now that she's been declared not guilty of manslaughter, could it be possible, if Karen wanted to, she could probably sue those people for defamation now, right?
I mean, it depends what they say, when they say it, and how they say it. I mean, somebody were to literally say, look, in my opinion, she killed him. I mean, that's not actionable. You're still allowed to have an opinion. If there's a good faith basis, I mean, Karen Read is probably at this point a public figure, right?
Yeah.
So the standard would get higher. I don't know if that's what this is about for her when I say clear your reputation, because the thing is, you would have so many people to sue. And, this stuff, I mean, you see a lot of the Twitter trolls and nonsense. This stuff about, who's filing defamation suits goes back and forth to the point where everybody needs to take a deep breath. And again, I understand it. 99% of them, I understand 99% of them are matriculated in the Twitter law school.
Yes,
and,
exactly.
All of that. And there's chapters all over the place, in Massachusetts and Indiana and other places. Just, enough, right? You can bitch and moan. You can think she did something, but as a legal exercise, in terms of establishing whether she was guilty, there's no case. There never was. And although she had no burden of proof, if you had to say who had more proof in terms of this didn't happen, meaning the defense, or it did happen, the prosecution, I would say the defense. With their evidence established, it's much more likely than not that there was not a collision than anything the prosecution offered in favor of a collision, which was nothing.
Definitely. We're gonna tonight. I like to invite some of the different YouTubers in, and this one they've been all getting all. Even Auntie Debb Auntie Debb's in the chat. If Auntie Debb wants to come up tonight, I'd love to have Auntie Debb too.
Get 'em
But
up.
Auntie Debb basically told everyone to stop asking for this person because it was getting obnoxious. But at the same time, I want this person on the show, so I sent them a link, of course. What's up, Runkle on the
There he
Daily?
is.
I've
Your people are they're like causing a stir in there. They want to see you up here, Runkle. Look, and I figured why not? I love Runkle. What are you drinking?
Wow. It's not quite champagne, but it's close enough for my.
It's a celebratory drink.
Yeah, it's. I was
I
watching earlier.
I always see you having, a nice adult beverage from time to time. And so when we were on last week, I decided I'm allowed to have a little whiskey while we talk. But the problem was I didn't know it's going to be like close to midnight or 1 a.m. But
you know what my favorite thing today has been? Somebody linked me to Cottage Tales to be like, hey, look at what the friends and that, it's sad, their situation. But just as the second verdict comes in, Coffin Daffer pops into their thing, and she's like, I'm ready for this verdict. And then as soon as the verdict is delivered, she pops out without saying a word. She's gone. And I was just like, you absolute abject coward.
She is a coward and a grifter, and she'll just slink to the next one to pop in. The thing about, the attic guy, he's probably done, right? I mean, he's essentially irrelevant at this point. His gig is up. His book obviously has no value, right? He's telling stories of how guilty someone is. By the way, never publish a book on a trial professing how guilty someone is before the trial, and then the trial ends up 180 degrees the opposite way. It's not good for, marketing that. But I think a lot of those people will just slink away and disappear, except for the ones who are literally just obsessed, with Aiden. They'll obviously be here for that, but I think a lot of them will disappear.
Yeah. It's going to be back to doing UFOs and Ouija boards and all that stuff he used to do before. I don't know if you've seen some of that stuff. The tarot card readings. Remember that one, Mazza? You see some of that stuff?
Oh, I can only imagine. I was looking at Coffin Daffer's page. She mentioned something about Karen's comment to the press about being the only, no one cared about, justice for John O'Keefe more than her, essentially. And she said, oh, it's a slap in the face to the O'Keefe family for her making that comment. Well, I'd imagine, she was, one of the first people that was out there trying to actively save his life too. So I think maybe that's where Karen's coming from. But they're always going to say something negative about Karen in any way, shape, or form they possibly can. It's disgusting. They're having a time. They're accepting the outcome. Let's be honest here. 12 jurors didn't decide the innocence of Karen Read. 24 jurors decided the innocence of Karen Read. This was not the first time a jury declared her not guilty. Counts 1 and counts 3. We have jurors that have confirmed that this actually happened in the first trial. So Karen Read went through 2 trials, didn't get convicted of manslaughter either time. 2 juries essentially declared her not guilty. And I was concerned that this judge was going to throw it out on a mistrial again if they had happened to be hung on the OUI charge. I was like, I actually think I said it to somebody yesterday. I'm like, it's almost probably better if she gets a guilty verdict on it, just to avoid the risk of the judge looking at it being like, oh, well, let's declare a mistrial and everything. I was so on edge about that, especially last night. And I actually said to myself, I was on edge last night more than I've ever been the entire time I've followed this case. And I had a thought. I said, this probably means something good's about to happen if I'm acting this intense, because I was so wound up. And then all of a sudden today, guess what? Karen Read's walking out of there. And I think almost with her too, she was so euphoric. Even when she's walking out of that courthouse today, I don't even know if she even knows what to think, because there comes a point in time, like even all of us, whether you've been on YouTube, whatever it is, you're a follower, you've stood out, whatever it is, you get so used to this being a daily or weekly activity where you're standing out every weekend, your boots on the ground at multiple hearings, you're on multiple shows, we're all, we're watching multiple shows. We've been doing this for so long now. A lot of us,
Bederow Mazza shows, 3 M's. Yeah.
Right. And now all of a sudden, I think Karen's kind of like, it's kind of like when the Patriots and the Red Sox won their first championships this century or ever.
You don't know what to do.
You didn't know what to do. Like when the Patriots won their first Super Bowl, I sat there for like 5 minutes. Like, did Vinatieri not miss that? Like Scott Norwood, did the Red Sox really beat the Yankees and sweep the Cardinals? This is happening, right? It was kind of the same feeling today. I'm like, is this really over? Is Karen Reed really like,
right?
It's not going to be a third trial at all. You're sure? I'm going to wake up tomorrow and there's not going to be a third trial.
The best part of today is when they got to the sentencing. I was wondering about that, and it seems like it's a done deal. Are they having a sentencing hearing? Do you know, Bederow? Are they having a
OUI? Yeah.
And what I was watching with Melanie, and I said the irony is, the very end when the judge wanted to adjourn it a week, and Brennan said, "Let's do it today," and I said that means wow, he's not going to ask for jail, and just said give her the standard sentence. It's a shame it took for the whole case to crash and burn at the ultimate moment of humiliation for Brennan to finally, lay down his sword, kneel to the victor, essentially, and be magnanimous. And he had his finest moment when he had already been humiliated and it was all over. But the one thing he did was be a gentleman in that moment, not require anyone to come back, not go through this nonsense of asking for any jail, indicating the sentence, the ordinary sentence for anyone else was appropriate. And let's be honest, as an added benefit, save himself the humiliation from having to come back in a week and get heckled and all of that. But all kidding aside, it's kind of sad, but that's how he handled himself at the very best in the trial when it was all over.
Thank God.
I give him some points for that.
Yeah, me too. Thank God. Like, we're fair. We're fair. That's the thing. We are fair.
I was expecting to come back and be like, yes, we're going to need an adjournment. We're going to have big arguments. I'm coming in at 2 years, something like that. And I mean, it looks like they'd had that worked out with the, with the defense ahead of time that they'd spoken.
Interesting.
Right, yeah.
Do you think when do you think they would have spoken about that? You think on the way in? Like, how does that work generally?
I suspect that they probably talked, maybe after the first juror question, they might have said, "Hey, what are you looking at? If it's just the OUI," and he probably went and said, "If that's it, then we'll just do the standard, and I'm out of here. Like I'm on a plane to not here."
Wow.
If this was a friendlier trial, I mean, obviously the lawyers don't like each other, and all that happens.
Yes.
If this had been a kind of friendlier trial, when they're having that conversation, there might have been a funny moment where, what are you looking at? And someone like Brennan in that situation would say, what the hell are you asking me for? I'm not the one that asked for this ticky-tack charge. You're the one that's making us sit here and wait as they, debate on a murder case of freaking OUI for 4 days. So who cares? But obviously, he did the right thing. If you're going to criticize him, you also have to be fair when he does something good, and that was appropriate. So, good job.
You finally did something. Yeah, I mean that was just to know that she's walking out of there, to see that crowd today. That was just. I'm on cloud 9. I feel really good because I've felt that weight. I don't know. And Bederow, we kind of talked about this. Mazza, Runkle, did you feel any weight pressure on this? Because I know you're covering it from Canada. You're a lawyer. You're used to these things. Did you feel the pressure of this?
Oh, I was sitting there just like agonizing because I'm worried the whole time through that I'm about to witness, something horrible, right? They come back and they're like, yeah, we've deadlocked on the OUI, or they come back and they're like, yeah, we compromised on manslaughter, and it would just be like this, because I look at this and this is not a closed case. This is not a case. This is one of the cases that if I'm a judge at the end of it, when defense lawyers always ask for the, the directed verdict, the acquittal, like, they always ask for that because you have to, but you never get it, right? It's something that happens like one time in 1,000, and it's usually on some ticky-tack thing because a prosecutor has forgotten to ask the question of like, isn't it true this happened? Like, what city did this happen in? And they said, and so they lose on something like they forgot to ask jurisdiction or something idiotic like that, like so rarely. But this is one of the cases where if I was a judge, when I got when I got that, I would have said, I need to think about this. And I may well have come back and said, based on the evidence, the evidence that they've heard, a jury could not reasonably return. This is not a situation where this goes to the jury. Directed acquittal. And the thing is some of the evidence in this, like some of the things that happened in this trial, are wild. How insane is it that we have the Welcher, the prosecution's own expert, comes in and says, I didn't do a backup impact test because we're hoping to sell this Lexus afterwards, and I thought it might damage it. And I'm sitting here going, he can't believe in his heart of hearts that the Commonwealth theory, because if you believe the Commonwealth theory, Reed's Lexus is undamaged. So why would you be concerned that you're going to F up your own Lexus if you believe the theory? You just be like, okay, let's do the test. The Lexus will be fine because Karen Reed's Lexus is fine. If he's thinking we can't damage this Lexus, then he thinks the Commonwealth theory is at least reasonable doubt, because otherwise he'd run the test. Like if he's that certain. I do not understand this case.
No, and
it's a great point.
In a case full of losers, I mean, there's, the winners and losers, and the losers list is, obviously Morrissey, Brennan, Proctor, the state police, the Canton. I mean, you could go on and on. Can we talk about Aperture? Holy crap.
Oh, boy. Blue Man Group?
Holy crap. I mean, talk about a dynamic duo. Yeah. Okay, Welcher is a high-ranking authority and so-called expert in accident reconstruction who this jury almost certainly concluded was a complete and utter fraud in what he did. I mean, he fleeced the taxpayers for that and then based his data on his colleague, who it's bad enough he didn't finish college, but he lied about it all over the place. And when all these people are like, oh, he made a mistake on LinkedIn, excuse me. He went from not graduating to graduating to graduating this year, this year to this year. And for the grand finale, graduating with a degree that does not exist.
Blue Man Group University exists, Mark. Come on.
Fraud. That's not an accident.
That's gone. $400,000 can of paint.
That company is an absolute joke. I mean, their credibility is just destroyed. And it was on a national stage, international stage even. We have a Canadian lawyer here. He saw it. But it's on a worldwide stage. It's just, holy crap, are they damaged? There are so many people who signed up for this prosecution. I mean, just within the state police. I mean, look at Proctor. I mean, I can't wait to see what this guy has to say tonight on 2020. A non-witness in this case, okay? The prosecution did not see fit to call him. Did they know that he gave the 2020 interview? Does that make, Karen gave interviews, which I don't approve of, by the way, but that's not the point. Does that
matter no more?
No. But now, play it all. Play those bad clips on loop.
Play clip number 4.5 from 2020.
But, now Brennan must have known that Proctor was going on a press tour. And what a savage move by ABC, holding it quiet. I don't know how they did that. And then unleashing the hound 4 hours after the verdict comes out, where you're going to have Proctor saying, I didn't do anything. I just made some bad text, but I did nothing wrong. I mean, who is advising this guy?
Wow. Was recorded that Proctor interview? Do we have any idea yet?
It had to have been recorded a while ago, sure.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to say before my dog was going crazy, but with regards to Aperture, for the people in the chat, you have to understand why, as a lawyer, you go to a company called like Aperture. And that is because it's like going to McDonald's when you're traveling. When you go to McDonald's, you know you're going to get a burger and it's going to be edible and consistent. When you go to somebody like Aperture, you're like, I want an expert, and I don't, you guys have vetted them, right? And you expect that you're going to get an expert who's competent, who's been vetted, who's not going to blow up your case. And Aperture, even for the experts who are not, who didn't get clowned today, Aperture can no longer deliver that. They can no longer say, we promise you an expert who's not going to be a tire fire, because they just served up 2 tire fires in this trial.
Yeah.
And so if I'm at Aperture and I am like, I might be the world's greatest expert in like steel girders or whatever it is that they do, and I'd be going, I need to polish up my resume and get the hell out of here to a firm people are going to hire, because that's a disaster. Like, it's just awful.
Aperture reminds me of the time I went to McDonald's and I got 2 Big Macs and neither one of the Big Macs had any patties on them.
Right.
That's what
if Aperture is
cheese either. It was just lettuce, tomato, and yeah, that's it.
If Aperture is McDonald's, does that make Trooper Paul like a veggie burger from Hardee's? I mean, what the hell is he?
I think Trooper Paul is like the grease bin out back of the McDonald's.
I think he's kind of vindicated slightly.
Yeah. Oh,
maybe I don't know. But you're right. I mean, Aperture is. I mean, what an utter and complete joke they've become. And look what they charged. I mean, just a pure fleecing.
Yeah. You think that jury, when they were deliberating, do you think any one of those jurors just said, hey, I mean, isn't it kind of outrageous that they collected all this evidence and taillight and put it in Stop and Shop bags? I mean, isn't that alone a credibility question of a crime scene investigation? I mean, like Glara said, just spin the wheel and anything that comes up is reasonable doubt. This is so atrocious. I'm just thankful that this jury, both of them actually saw through it to some degree enough to declare not guilty.
One thing I was hoping we were going to hear in a summation was this point, because this is fascinating to me. I said this to Howie Carr today. It's very rare is the case where you have investigation of a police officer's death and the police department mails it in, or worse. I mean, that's just the kind of thing that would never happen, ever. This case, you actually have 2 separate and distinct police departments in the span of 24 hours who completely screwed the pooch. And the odds of that, the dog didn't like that. I heard that. He barked when I said so. Think about that. You had the Canton police who didn't secure a crime scene or do anything.
Right.
And that's like the shot. And then the chaser is, here comes the Proctor goon squad, and they do nothing. And to have 2 separate agencies do nothing about a town resident, he lived in Canton, a Boston police officer found dead on the lawn of another Boston police officer, and they're looking around saying, we can't secure a crime scene. Like, we're out of here. It's snowing. The jury had to have factored. I mean, they didn't hear it in those terms, but they had to factor in that lack of investigation. That's just atrocious. Yeah. And I also wonder, and I'll never understand why this is the case. I understand in this trial, in order to get a seat to go into the trial, it's like getting a Wonka golden ticket. I mean, it's but how in the hell were there no Boston police officer? I'm not talking about uniform. Right. The judge said I'm not doing uniforms, whatever. Where the hell were the Boston police? Can anyone...
just one that would show up. Just Carl. That's it.
Yeah, the one who body checked Karen allegedly last
exactly.
summer.
That's it. Nobody else.
That's disturbing. Sad.
Weird. It's weird. It's not normal.
Yeah, I mean, you had more Jen McCabe and Brian Albert in over the last 2 years in the jury box. In the boy, it's a good thing this trial's over. can't speak anymore. In the
Yeah, it's been
audience.
a lot of thinking. You've been on a lot of shows the past couple of days too. So
You know what's funny too is like now I have to. Today I was thinking like, none of these people are witnesses anymore. We don't have to worry about as much about what we say. Like, but
there
some of them are witnesses in
Boy case, right?
Aiden's case. So
Aiden-
now we need to know who's a witness in
Okay.
Aiden's case.
Okay.
We need a list.
Yeah.
Well, some of those counts were dismissed.
Michael Morrissey's working on that right now to make sure everybody from this. Yeah.
The counts involving Michael Proctor and Yuri Buchanan were dismissed. That's true.
So they're free game. They're free game, but they could be witnesses. That's what's the problem.
I heard a report that Yuri was with Brennan today. Does anybody know anything about that? I was hearing a rumor about this. Is that true? That he was in the court with them? And I heard something about that. I don't know if it was true.
There was some pictures of him. He was definitely there. Him and Tully, there were pictures and video of him. Yeah.
I mean,
there's nothing wrong with it, but if I'm Brennan and Yuri comes up to me, I'm just like, we are done. We don't have anything more to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a great look.
Can we talk about another not a great look? I think is the statement that came out from Brian Albert, Jennifer McCabe, and a group of them. But some names were. Higgins wasn't on the list, but it's interesting. What do you think about that?
I'm already getting attacked by the anonymous mass lawyer about that one, who says I should be celebrating the win. And that statement is terrible and is indicative of people that have no public relations advice.
Yes,
right.
The only thing, first of all, they should have just said, the Albert and McCabe families. You don't have to literally tell us Colin Albert is a signatory to this statement. And then, of course, if you leave people out, it looks stupid. But the only statement they should have made is that our thoughts and prayers are with John O'Keefe and his family. And although we are disappointed in this verdict, we love and support him, and we may have more to say in the future. That's it. Then they say, we're not going to get into anything today. And then they proceed to say, but the hell with Karen Reed, her scummy lawyers, scummy content creators, and the rest of you dirtbags who are into conspiracies and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And what it led me to believe, and this is what I tweeted and led the anonymous lawyer to get upset, apparently, was that statement by some of these people, and it's interesting how Kerry Roberts signed on to that too, ignored the fact that no less than 4 signatories of this statement on February 1st, a couple of days after, were part of a conversation amongst each other in private, saying, tell them the guy never went in the house. She's telling them everything. 5th signatory.
I wonder if they did this by text message. Do you think they did a text message to come up with this statement, Mark?
No, it's too long. It's too long. I can't picture them doing that. But my point is, people really show you their true selves when they're talking amongst themselves privately. And of course, those conversations were found out because of the feds. We wouldn't even know about this. But if you're going to start with spewing this kind of stuff, you own all the other stuff you did. And their conduct in the early stages after this is very consistent in being very cold to John O'Keefe about he's just a guy, the man, tell him this. They're looking here. They had no discussion about him by name, concern about him, concern about his mother, or concern about the family. And then you get this. And all they had to do was stop after the first sentence. And they just kept going. And this is terrible. But it also tells you they're ready to roll up their fists, clench them up, and let's go. They're ready to fight.
Defensive posture.
They really should have just said, something along the lines of, the first sentence is great. Today, our hearts are with John and the entire O'Keefe family. We are going to take some time to mourn John O'Keefe. We have no further comment at this time. Right. We may make a further statement later, and then you just hide out. And you can just put it as, as you said, as a statement from everybody instead of specifically signing off. And by the way, who expects that Kerry Roberts is going to be on the outs in that friend group as soon as within like 3 months. You can sort of see she seems to be peripheral, and I bet that once she's not useful, she's not so much invited to things. I don't know.
I agree 100%. I mean, if you saw all the police statements and the evidence and the private text chain and then the chain with Kerry, and it almost looked like, they were using the tractor beam to pull her into their group and control her. And they did. I mean, look, they can bitch and moan all they want and tell you these things, but the undisputed facts are when Kerry Roberts first spoke to the state police on the day John O'Keefe was killed, and who was sincerely her friend, and they said, tell us everything you know, I think all would agree if Kerry Roberts had any information about how her friend died, she would have shared it. She's not a part of anything at that point. And you know what she told them? I don't know shit. I don't know anything. She didn't tell them about busted taillights. She didn't tell them about I hit him. She huddled up with these people, right? The statements changed. They were there on the phone, and all of a sudden, it went all the way into testifying under oath. I heard Karen Reed ask her to Google search how long to die in the cold. Can we
just gonna say,
she's a talker too. Remember they criticized her a lot too.
I agree with Ian. She's gonna be like, over there
with the wind. Yeah.
They're just gonna quietly. She's gonna find out that they're having parties. She just quietly didn't hear about them anymore, and eventually it's just gonna be like, well, they've cut her out. But did you guys already talk about John DePetro or whatever and his busted taillight incident?
Might have mentioned it a little bit, but I don't know if that was pre-show or during the show. I'm not sure.
I don't think we talked about it.
No, it was a pretty funny story. Was he trying to experiment? How many taillights?
Do we know if that actually was him? We don't even
denying
know.
It. What I understand, he's denying it. Yeah. But it's also the same. It's also the same guy told you that Karen Reed is going to jail, so that didn't happen either.
It looks a lot like him in the video, though. So
so there is a video that shows it. That's a part I didn't see.
It doesn't. The video I saw doesn't show the actual collision, but it does show him being confronted and then going back to leave a note. I think he's actually acknowledged the note on Twitter. Mm-hmm. But the fun thing is that now, Mark, you might have a better idea of this. Apparently, for Massachusetts, you have to leave a note with some other lawyer's site was saying that you have to leave a note with your name, your address, and your registration number. And all he leaves is his web page and his email address.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know at Massachusetts accident to avoid leaving the scene if there's no cops. I don't know, but whatever he says happened, you should assume the exact opposite. So
that's true. That's true. I'm not sure you have to write it on the note, but I know in fact that you have to give the other person your registration number. You have to, you know what I mean? You're supposed to show it. Usually, like if I remember an accident, I ask to see it and take a quick photo of it, so I have all that info. You know what I mean? Like, I know you're required to exchange information, so I don't know what you do if they're not there. I don't know.
I would just find it very funny, and I don't know for certain if he's committed an offense because I haven't been able to dig through the statutes and so forth, but I would find it very funny if he ends up getting charged for that, and even funnier if he ends up getting more time for that. If he gets a stricter penalty. I doubt it would happen because it's a fairly minor, assuming he, pays.
I think the bigger question on all these folks, like Howie Carr said this today, is like, we don't want to see him anymore. Like, is Court TV going to continue with Julie Grant, for instance, as a host? Are they going to, of course they will. But I mean, they shouldn't. It's embarrassing. Are they going to continue to have Coffin Daffer on there and some of these other?
They have had
on anything.
I mean, after Aperture, in terms of a, organization losing credibility, you enter the Court TV part of the program. Julie Grant is a former prosecutor, which ought to give you some credibility in criminal justice. She's been doing this a long time. I mean, I'd never really heard of her, but I assume she has a nice reputation before this. My interaction to her or introduction to her was she was tweeting something during the first trial about how ridiculous the cross-examination of Katie McLaughlin, the Albert Friend EMT. Remember her? And I responded to her and said, well, actually, you know, what they're trying to establish between friend and acquaintance is that she's concealing that, you know, whatever, like normal, what you would think would be lawyer to lawyer analysis. And it was like insta block. And I just like, who is this woman? And then, you know, I was curious and saw some of her stuff, and she's interviewing Wendy Murphy, yakking it up, Coffin Daffer, who of course is, I mean, my God. And during this trial, primarily DePietro, whatever his name is, Baghdad Bob. And 90% of their discussions were basically conversations and words I won't say, in which they were highly praising Brennan, to the point of, again, words I won't say on this family channel.
Those words are.
Really, but it was so intellectually disingenuous. And it's as if, I mean, if you would see this guy DePietro's tweets during the trial about, oh my God, jury rolling their eyes and despises Karen Reed, and Karen Reed is like ready to get this and looks like she's gonna hit her lawyer and or stuff like that. And he's just making it up. And the only comparison I could ever was, ironically, you know, Wendy's son, when he sometimes reports things that like you actually saw it and say, okay, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. That definitely didn't happen. There's no way that's true. And these are the people that Court TV is putting on their morning show.
Yeah.
Putting on, and you know, you start to feel bad for, like, you know, the normal people at Court TV who work there, and you say, because you're discrediting them too. It's unfair, but you are.
Like Vinny. Like, I like Vinny. I think Vinny's the best out of all of them. It's like, but why does he have those guests on there? Why did he have Kevin on for so long?
Yeah.
I almost think like Vinny, like, does he have no power there? Like, or is he just, is this what he does? Like, I don't know. I just
can't get anyone to espouse the intelligent view of, I have a different view than Karen Reed is innocent. There must have been someone out there they could have put on who was remotely intelligent.
Why do it? Why do it though? Like, when we do these shows where we don't have any idiots on, like, why, if everyone great is Karen's innocent, why not make that your show and make that your crusade? Like, why not? Why not just lean into it? That's what everyone wanted. That's what,
and it's,
we're doing it. We're winning with it.
At some point, somebody needs to take some of these, you know, legal commentators and actually hold them up to a scoreboard. Because like, not everybody predicts every outcome perfectly. But when you look at people like Coffin Daffer and Julie Grant, and I had the same experience where I just like was like, hey, that doesn't seem to be correct, and just block instantly.
Politely, right. Lawyer to lawyer.
It doesn't, you know, and lawyers do this all the time. It's not like, you know, like I'm on with Rob all the time, Law and Lumber, and you know, we disagree over stuff. We can have it out in a big disagreement over something, but you're not upset because that's what lawyers literally do. It's the job.
The job. Yeah.
But like, you see Coffin Daffer and Grant and several others, and they're like a compass, but a compass that always points to wrong.
Right.
So, you know, it's like, when do you start saying, hey, these people are always wrong, and so maybe their legal analysis is just not that good? Like Wendy Murphy, who was, you know, so, and I mean, I'm sure you guys already talked about Coffin Daffer's experiment as an expert witness and the court's opinions there. Like, where's the point where you just say this person might have FBI credentials, but they have no actual credibility?
Right.
When it comes to Wendy, okay,
specifically,
how do you get past the following when somebody says, I have an idea for a lawyer? 2 words: Duke Lacrosse. Okay.
Yeah.
Is the fire pit of hell from which there's no coming back. And if you're a lawyer and you're going to try to tell me that was a strong case and that woman was a victim and she accepted money and there's DNA on the broomstick or whatever the hell thing she's talking, As soon as you hear her and you Google her, Duke Lacrosse, she needs to go down the memory hole, like to be forgotten forever in this conversation. She has zero credibility. And Coffindaffer, I mean, her game is just simply showing up, saying obvious things or opinions, giving no analysis, repeating them. I mean, she's very like almost like Nancy Grace, like for a non-lawyer. You know, she just gives an opinion, says, you know, John O'Keefe was killed by Karen Reed, and then she just mirrors the evidence as she sees it, but gives no analysis and says she has to be held accountable. And you sit there and you say, how does anybody actually respect anything she does or says? Anything.
Well, I'm curious to see these people on X that have been accusing a lot of us, if not all of us, of being paid to support Karen Reed. And you know, all of us have been accused of being a part of the PR team. You know, there's no doubt about that. But I wonder what members of that side were a paid PR team, if any. You know, I'm not saying that they were, but I wonder. And what I'm saying here for my main point is I'm interested in seeing, do they just veer off in the coming days and just disappear and you never really hear about them talk about this case again? That's what I'm interested in looking to see. Are they going to continue to squawk about it, or are they just going to kind of, you know, now that this case is essentially, it's over, you know, I'm sure, yeah, the Turtle Boy, you know, trials are coming up, the hearings are coming up there. There's going to be an OUI sentencing in about a week. But do they all of a sudden, now that the Karen Reed trial itself is formally over, what, you know, do these people, if they were quote unquote paid, for example, would they just suddenly disappear? That would be kind of the time, I think, where it would be like, well, that's over. So,
yeah, I think paid or not,
yeah,
a large portion of these people just disappear because it's over, and they'll go on to the next thing to bitch and moan and live their, you know, often miserable existences complaining about something else on the internet. It's kind of sad, but that's like society in 2025. There is a large percentage of that, of not a lot of people, but a large percentage of the group we're talking about who, yeah, they'll follow the Aiden stuff just because they hate him. But I think there's a lot who would just say, yeah, I'm done here. I mean, I don't need.
Sure. They should hang it out. They should hang it out. But some of them will hang on because they hate Aiden.
I feel like some of them hated Aiden more than they actually cared about anything in the Karen Reed case, like at all.
Totally.
There's at least, to your point, there's at least that I can count. You guys would know more than me because you've been around this longer. There's at least 4 or 5 of them where there are videos of them dressed in free Karen Reed stuff, protesting this awful miscarriage of justice until, you know, Aiden turned on them. And these people became, you know, Karen Reed is guilty, causes cancer, global warming.
A couple of them actually, they got and beefed with Karen too. Like look at Natalie. Remember Natalie, Joe Warren. So a couple of them, they got upset with Karen personally, and another group of them got upset with Aiden, or Aiden called them out. Some of them were just not the people you want supporting you. Do you know what I mean? Like that's why Aiden won. I can think of some of them Aiden called out because exactly that. Like some people aren't great to have as supporters. So let's just put it that way.
I just had to correct myself. So the chat corrected me. So I, for some reason, Auntie Debb talked about the sentencing, then the 1-year probation. I recalled both points. For some reason, I still thought there was a sentencing next week. So I just wanted to, the chat corrected me to let me know I misstated. Thank you, guys.
Is that no longer? There's no longer. It got settled right on the spot, I believe.
That's why we were applauding Brennan for being
accepting that.
That's right. Yeah.
Woman lawyer and getting this resolved, getting everyone out of here, recognizing this is not a case to ask for jail, and tilt your hat, go home, it's over. No, it's
okay. Perfect. Yeah, because I caught, I caught up on all of it, but for some reason I still just didn't. My mind never caught the fact that the sentencing is all over. So that's great news. And like you said, Mark, she can appeal that too and fight that and try to get that off the books. So that's going to be huge. Yeah.
I mean,
we're having a party. I got someone else I want to bring up real quickly here. Someone else that Debb.
What's up, guys?
How you doing?
Okay.
You want me to do a big introduction?
I'm having a freaking blast over here. commenting on Kevin's stream. All right. Trying to reach out to Julie Carpenter. I'm trying to be like, what's up, guys? What happened? What? Oh, guys, free cat. Oh, wait, we did. Oh, it happened. Yellow Cottage Tales streamed the trial, and right after it ended, I commented right underneath, and I was like, this is the best stream you've ever done. And then I said, he streamed the trial, the court today, with a whole bunch of them, boundless millennials up in there, screaming, having a gay fit. And I was like, this is the best you guys ever done. But in all honesty, I'm going to miss the banter. It got me through. But then I wrote free cat, and then I put a dash, and I was like, oh, wait. And then someone commented underneath, and they were like, well, you're going to be in the civil suit doing live streams from your mom's car. And I was like, oh, good. So we can keep this up. Good, because I need gas in that car. Good. And I was like, Mom, I'm getting gas.
You know,
civil suit?
It's weird the number of people who've like sent me messages going, you're going to get sued. And I'm like, how?
They must be offering a 2-1 at the Twitter Law School where they have a course in, reasonable doubt and burdens of proof or lack of understanding thereof and defamation suits, because those seem to be by far and away the most popular courses at the Twitter Law School and, on the island of misfit toys. They really should just move on. It's not healthy. I mean, look, a lot of these people wrap their lives around, like, I'm going to live stream about Karen being guilty and you're all idiots. And it's just fascinating because, I mean, again, lawyers look at these things differently. But when lawyers looked at this was always just an obvious, as a legal exercise, like, yeah, that's not going to happen unless something crazy with the world happens, because there's no evidence. And usually you need evidence to convict people beyond a reasonable doubt. And it's going to be, Mazza, to your point earlier, I don't know what these people are going to do, where they're going to go, because for some of them, it's kind of sad. Their whole existence has been bitching and moaning and, screaming, get off of my lawn on Twitter and their little live streams about how guilty Karen is. And this was always destined to end this way, whether it was 2 trials, 3 trials. She was never going to get convicted of murder or manslaughter. It's just never going to happen because there's no evidence.
I mean, Coffindoffer got right off the stream the minute they said not guilty.
I saw that, and it was the funniest thing.
That is because
she says, I had to, she's like, I had to be here for this. Like, and then the instant the verdict happens, it's just, whoop, gone.
What stream was she on? What stream is she on?
Kevin's. She was at the cottage. She's hanging out at the cottage.
Okay.
Yellow Cottage.
Okay.
The reason
Kevin kept going and she just dropped off.
It was the best. No, yeah, they said not guilty, and she just left. And Boundless goes, he goes, disgusting. Guess you can murder whoever you want in Massachusetts as long as you have money.
She is a shifter. As soon as it's over.
What's that head thing? What's that head thing?
Apparates and
talks about mouthful, you know what?
She's going to be on some other true crime thing, just restating the obvious, talking about justice, doing whatever, and then she'll move to the next one and move to the next one, and that's what she does. Because this is dead to her. This nothing. There's nothing left for her to say. And you know what? We'll see how much she cares about, the O'Keefe family and all that stuff, because there's other things to do.
Yeah, but
or helping justice for John O'Keefe. Is she gonna? If there's evidence now that's discovered, if anything comes out, who knows what Proctor might say? Who knows where this might go? Is she gonna actually care about John O'Keefe? Because I saw some people posting today, like, who's going to care about John O'Keefe? I think everyone free Karen Reed has always cared about John O'Keefe and still
freeing
does.
Karen Reed is the path to justice for John O'Keefe. And the fact that Karen Reed was placed through what she's been placed through for 3.5 years now has prohibited the path to true justice for him. And it's been various law enforcement departments and the legal system here in Norfolk County that has been denying this. And they try to make it, it's you either support Karen Reed or you support John O'Keefe. No. We support John O'Keefe and getting justice for him. But the problem is that the people in the powers that be for 3.5 years have wasted a lot of time, 2 trials, and a lot of taxpayer money on this fraudulent 2 trials that we've been through, which is absolutely ridiculous. So, yeah, I would say, it'd be nice to get justice for John O'Keefe. But my only concern is is what evidence is there, because the crime scene was obviously tainted now, and that becomes a real concern as well. Which means one thing:
can't unfuck this investigation.
There's never. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
There's no way that they come back at this, and that like everybody who's going, oh, they're going to get the real killers. There is no way to untangle this. This is the closest you're going to get to justice for John O'Keefe, and it's still way far away. They can't go back and relook into that house. They can't go back. And the thing is that even if they brought a prosecution, they've spent so much time going after Karen Reed that they have built reasonable doubt for anyone else. There's just no way to, there is no path for it.
Could the feds have gotten some information on wiretaps?
The feds actually require evidence that's overwhelming before they charge people. They don't do it the Michael Morrissey way, which is like, I don't know, maybe, and let's see. But there's never going to be justice for John O'Keefe, because I agree with Ian. They destroyed the crime scene the day it happened, and at that point, it was gone. So Karen was basically a pound of flesh. The other problem, and why you're never going to get justice for him, is that all these people that are screaming for justice, who are angry at Karen, they're blaming the wrong people. I mean, if you're really sincerely interested in it, that anger should be squarely at the Canton Police, the Massachusetts State Police, and the Norfolk DA's office, and say, why didn't you people do anything to investigate the death of our friend and police officer that was found dead on the lawn of a prominent cop in your town? They didn't do it. And that's the point. And it's sad that his family will never get justice. But if they have blame, or anyone else has blame, they're looking in the wrong direction. They can scream and yell about Karen all they want, but you're looking 180 degrees in the wrong direction.
Yeah, because that crime scene was so compromised. And I guess at the end of the day, if their goal was to make sure that they would never see the inside of a prison cell or ever be incriminated by this, they succeeded in that. It was more important for Karen just not to be placed behind bars, because that would have been the worst part. It would have been an insult to injury, not only a cover up and a frame job, but actually Karen Reed going to jail. Unfortunately, the justice system played out. Took 2 trials to do it, but it played out correctly. And she'll never see the inside of a prison cell, unlike what all the trolls told us for 2 years, 3 years, and that turned out to not be true. Karen Reed's walking out the door today, folks. She's going home. So
I want to lock my jaws on Julie Grant, because she was like, do you think they're going to arrest Karen in John's handcuffs? And now I just want to get my jaws on her neck, and I don't want to hold on, my cat's I
want to know. Are any of them going to hold Morrison? Because if Julie Grant or Coffindaffer really care about John O'Keefe, they should want to hold Morrissey accountable, and they should be interviewing people who are running against them. They should be supporting Canton residents that are looking to look into their government and their police department, which has been happening. And I don't see them doing any of that.
There is no gag order in place. Michael Morrissey can no longer hide behind a gag order. And every reporter should be asking him, because he is the DA and he's also a candidate for DA. And they should be asking him about the amount of expenses and investments he made in a case that never should have been brought. And the primary one is one that you guys, Mike and Mazza anyway, have heard me bitch about for the better part of a year, which is, sir, will you please tell us why you had to hire a ringer to almost $1 million at the same time your 2 prosecutors from the first trial are sitting at the table and either staring at the wall or twiddling paper clips. The point is, by having them there, you are telling us there's no conflict of interest. So if there's no conflict of interest, why do you need a ringer? And does it mean, A, because no one in your office will take this bag of shit case because it's a loser and it's not a proper prosecution? Or do you believe no one is competent to do it? Either or is not good. But to spend taxpayer money beyond the amount that office is already allocated, it's scandalous if there's no conflict. And there is a cottage industry, and you see this in Norfolk County. There is a cottage industry of special prosecutors all over the place on everything. They're just dealing out special prosecutors for this, for that, and it costs hundreds and hundreds. Somebody put up a thing the other day about all the money on all these Norfolk special prosecutor cases going on. It's an insane amount of money.
Have you seen his food budget? I wonder how many patio chairs he's gone through. How many patio chairs has he broken?
He's broken a few pizza boxes. I know that.
It's not.
He was going to get pizza when he got in that accident. He was going to get pizza.
That's what he says.
It wasn't a
Julie
meatball.
Carpenter is on Twitter saying that we're all going to get sued.
Who? We are all. Is she talking about us right now? Is she clipping? Is she showing us?
Not us specific. Just all of the slimy content creators.
Oh yeah, jeez. Oh my goodness, slimy content creators. Oh my.
They haven't even seen slimy yet. They haven't even seen it.
Are they going to sue 1,000 of us? Like how many?
I hope when
how long the list would be if they sued me.
I'd rather sued elsewhere than there.
What is it?
I said I'd rather be sued elsewhere than Indiana. I hope we don't get dragged into Indiana when she sues us.
Oh boy,
Julie Carpenter, dude, I'm dying for Julie Carpenter. Give me Jewel. Give me good time, Jewel. I want.
And also, are you going to sue me in Canada or like how's this going to work?
She blocked me again. I'm always blocked from her. Like we were cool for a minute, and then she blocked me.
Oh, she blocked me, and I don't think she's ever unblocked me. It's just somebody posted a snippet of that. So,
Auntie, you got a history. Good time, Julie.
Me and her have some history.
My favorite conflict of 2024. That was the best feud of 2024 on Twitter.
It really was. That was like
that was amazing to watch. Yeah,
I dedicated an entire weekend just dragging her by the scalp.
Are there any songs about her?
No, there is a half-hour dedicated video that I compilated all the 12 that I made over a weekend, and I put them all together in chronological order. So I called it the crucifixion of Julie Carpenter, and the knife was in the back, and she wasn't coming up for air. It was done, and then just make sure she was dead. I dug her in even deeper. I haven't talked to her since. We had a sleepover. We thought we were cool, but
didn't work out.
He wanted it, and I had nothing but the time for it.
I
was happy.
I mean, this is what I say: never get into a beef with a comedian when you're a housewife. Like, you just don't do it. It's not.
Nobody's better at roasting someone than Auntie Debb. Okay, this is the greatest comedian in all of Free Karen Reed. You don't want to get no back and forth because you know a music video is going to come out. You know you're going to be impersonated. You know you're going to be absolutely spoofed and ripped apart. I mean, Judge Cannoni never even met him, and he made a whole gimmick out of her. Like,
I know. Mazza, we had a show where it was like all the YouTube creators and lawyers and whoever was on there. And I was like, the only one I'm afraid of on this panel is Auntie Debb.
Auntie Debb, yeah.
And I think Lara, the tough guy, was like, I am too.
Like, he was we all are.
We're afraid of Auntie Debb. Because we're smart. Clara and I are smart. We know who to be afraid of.
Ever.
Yeah,
it's just like Auntie Debb. It's like I'll be angry for a little bit, but then I'm turning that into something funny so I can deal with it. Because and it's just I'm just gonna do what I do best.
It's the news, right? You're just like, for example, you're watching a trial, you're thinking about things, and it just comes to you. I'm going to work out lyrics with like clogged arteries and severe hypertension. I mean, it just works. It just comes to you. And
what's been amazing about this whole experience over the past 2 to 3 years is just the individuals that you come to meet. You need an expert attorney to come in and kind of tie it all in together. You got Mark Bederow, who eventually, joined this whole thing. You need comedy because last year we're all kind of so tense. You need someone just to spoof everybody on the stand. Auntie Debb. I think that's the magic of the Free Karen Reed. Now the Karen Reed Freed movement is that we've had so many people join us that have just brought their own take on things, their own perspective on life, and have brought everything and just made a whole unit of people. It's been absolutely amazing. And I know that we'll still be talking about this, other matters related to probably civil suits that are coming, whether it's Karen against, people against Karen or wherever. But it's been an absolute pleasure. It really has. I mean, there's been a lot of rocky roads that we've had to, as following Karen, supporting Karen, that we've all been through. But it's been an amazing process. And what's been great is just the growth and the donations to Karen Reed. Over $1 million were raised for her. And I bet you they never expected them when they were trying to railroad her and frame her that we'd ever have this many people. And I want to give a shout out to Jennifer Altman. I know we mentioned everything he's done. But Jennifer was one of the people that had an initial conversation that was able to kind of bring it to Aiden. I believe she got Aiden in communication with Karen, if I'm not mistaken, if that's accurate. But they kind of got that going, and Aiden just kind of really, really did what he did best, because Aiden for years had so much going for him with a lot of great articles, a lot of great stories, and a lot of times they'd be quick stories, a story here and there that would come and go. Sometimes some longer stories that had many parts, but nothing so expansive. And Jennifer Altman really kind of, I think, deserves a shout out too. Just because of that alone, that it affected all of our lives. From whether you're
too. Remember that when they Mellow doxed her address and her info. I also want to make sure that you said this earlier, Mazza, just a second ago, but I want to shout out some of the YouTubers and creators that have really stepped up and raised money for Karen. We watched it over LTL Media, raised shitload for Karen. He was even donating his own YouTube money. He's been amazing. Mazza Media right here. He's raised a lot of money for Karen. Auntie Debb, you've been amazing. You've done like over and over and over again. Nurse Kim is another one. I'm calling all beings. They raise money. I'm probably missing some, but there's been a lot of great YouTubers that have just been.
If you didn't mention them, that means we hate you.
No, I didn't. Oh, Glera's another one who raised money.
Like whenever you talk about people, if you miss someone, everyone's like, "Why didn't you say that?"
That's why I want to make sure I'm not missing anyone. I'm talking about the real ones that have. Microdots has raised a lot of money. Like there's certain ones. A lot of people kicked in. The Roccos obviously have done amazing, but I just want to make sure we shout out as many people, especially the ones that have really kicked in with the money. The money has been that made a difference, especially like Mazza, Auntie Debb, LTL. You guys were just over and over and over again doing it.
I also, to that point, Mike, I want to add a little extra portion, a second section to that comment. All the people that actually were guests on those shows, like a lot of my shows were driven. Actually, I always had a thought that the more guests, if you had 2 to 3 guests or more, that would drive in larger audiences, which meant more funds to be raised. And Mike, you were a part of that. I think I had you on a few times. I was on a few of yours, I believe, and just all that. It's been great. And Nurse Kim's Christmas special was actually what inspired me to start doing fundraisers on my own channel. And what was really driving my fundraisers the past few weeks was an all-out fear that they were going to force a third trial, and I didn't want to lit up on doing fundraisers. And all of a sudden, we're like, okay, this is going to be it. This will be over. And all of a sudden, today or tomorrow, it's, oh no, this is another hung jury and a mistrial, and here we go for round number 3. But unfortunately, I'm kind of relieved. But I'm just so relieved this portion of this whole thing's over. There's a lot of stuff to follow, and support. We got to support Aiden, Karen, and anything that comes up her way, whether against someone or someone against her. We got that coming up at some point in the future. But I'll tell you, I always said throughout this whole thing, if we can just get Karen Reed to be done with this whole portion of this whole thing, we can start moving on to putting more focus and effort into things we might have not have been able to as much as we'd like to the past couple of weeks. And, I'd like to say to everybody, support Turtle Boy and make financial donations to him as well. He not only popularized this story, but he also really at one point was a literal jailbird, jail casualty. I don't want to use the word jailbird, but in jail and a casualty of his own reporting. And they really went after him and targeted him for all he did. And Mike knows as well as me and any other people do. A lot of threats came our way too of things like this happening. And for Aiden, it was all too real. And this guy, just like Karen, look at Karen, look at Aiden. These are people that could have backed down at any point, could have pled out. Aiden could have pled out at any point. Karen could have pled out at any point. These people stood there. They stuck their middle finger back at all this chaos. And they said, we're going to stay strong. We're going to stand tall. We're going to continue to fight through this. And look what happened for Karen. She's now, most of this is behind her now, if not all of this, just in case any civil suits come her way, of course. But the thick of this is over. And for Aiden, some charges have been dropped already against him, quite a few. More coming that are going to be contested in court, but he'll have an opportunity to fight that. I pray and believe that he will prevail as well in that situation too. But I'll leave it there. I don't want to talk anymore and take up too much talking time.
I gotta say one thing now that we have Runkle on, because now that Runkle's here. So in the videos that I did when I parodied the first trial, okay, so in the last one Runkle, I did a character of the fan, but I had him in like white hair and like a white robe. And when I premiered it, everyone thought it was you.
I can't possibly imagine why.
I just wanted to say that now that like I have him here, the chance to tell him. So
yeah, that's funny.
A liminal thing.
Yeah, I'm really impressed by how Turtle Boy has kept going in the face of like a clear effort to suppress what he has to say and a clear some of the most bullshit charges I've ever seen. Like just some of the stuff they're pulling, I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like this? So I do hope that there will be attention there for, for Turtle Boy's stuff. I hope it's going to be like televised, etc., because that might be, otherwise it's a little more difficult to, to spot. And no, I hope we see justice for Turtle Boy as well. I don't always agree with everything he has to say. That's the nature of the First Amendment. The First Amendment and freedom of speech doesn't exist to protect speech that nobody cares about. It doesn't, nobody, if you say, aren't kittens cute, nobody is going to try to suppress that because everyone's like, yes, kittens are cute. It's the things that you want to say that are obnoxious or abrasive or challenge people who are in power. Those are the reasons why we have the First Amendment, is so that you can say those things, because the whole right exists to protect your ability to say things that other people want to shut you up for. So just because you might look at Turtle Boy and go, yeah, he's abrasive, or yeah, he's obnoxious, or yeah, he says this, that's where freedom of speech lives, folks. So if you want to say that you support it, get on out there. Like that's what supporting it is.
We have three separate trials to deal with still, and that's after an acquittal and charges being dismissed on another one. So it's going to go on for months and months and months because they're all separate trials. Some of them are a little more involved than others, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll just leave it at that. It's probably the best
First
thing
one to start, Mark.
Yeah.
Who's the first one kicking off?
Unclear. I mean, we have court appearance that was supposed to be this week. Actually, it was kicked over to July. Scheduling, nothing. People are on vacation doing stuff. He still needs to be arraigned on one of them. The D&E incident that was apparently traumatizing. There hasn't even been an arraignment on that. One of them involves the witnesses you were talking about earlier, the so-called rolling rally and all of that stuff. And then the other one involves the charge that got him jailed, right? And then that's the Lindsay witness intimidation after she got the grand jury summons. And I won't get into that, but, a lot of that's been written about and outlined in public filings as well about how that went down. So we have a lot. It's going to be a long time. It's going to go on for months and months and months.
Yeah,
definitely. Whether it's through Zoom or hopefully the media, I have a feeling the media networks might jump on it because they saw what happened with Karen Reed, so why wouldn't they now, NBC and some of these others, start wanting to stream and cover Aiden? I hope they do.
I don't know if the mainstream will. I mean, I hope they do. But, I mean, obviously, Karen Reed is a murder case of a police officer. But, having a lot of experience with mainstream media, they hit and move on. Karen Reed's over. Now, they're going to have their specials. For example, it's no coincidence Proctor's on in 20 minutes, right? They'll do their other shows and things. But on a day-to-day basis, Karen, in a couple of weeks, will be gone. I mean, it's over in terms of mainstream media, not, again, new media. So we'll see if there's enough of a connection about it where they stay involved. And the interesting thing is, in many ways, the principles that are involved in Aiden's cases are actually more important to the general population than any one murder trial. Okay. Obviously, Karen Reed case itself is the most fascinating thing, but this is going to sound terrible. It's just a murder trial. They don't happen.
Happens every day.
They don't affect a lot of people generally, whereas these cases involve an absolute obsession by law enforcement to arrest and charge someone for spitting on the sidewalk if they could, again and again and again. And I mean, you've seen some of these, and it does involve the First Amendment, as Ian was saying. You know, it comes on the heels of people getting arrested for throwing rubber duckies around the floor. I mean, it's out of control over there. So this is the kind of stuff that mainstream media should stay on, because it involves free speech, public expression, criticism of government, expressing opinion. And, you know, I get it. Some people say, well, your opinion offends me and upsets me, and I'm a witness. And, you know, that's for a jury to decide whether that is an intent to obstruct legal proceedings, I suppose. But it's important.
I have a question. 2 questions, actually. One, will you be watching the manifesto of Michael Proctor tonight at 8? And 2, yeah, me too. I cannot wait. And it's only on Hulu. It's not ABC regular cable. So just so you know.
I don't think we have Hulu here in Canada.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Someone's got to post it online. I mean, won't they post it on YouTube or something later?
ABC? I think Blair is watching it on his Kick. I saw a tweet, but I might get a free trial. And
send me that Kick link. I'll watch it later. After.
Mike wants the Kink link.
Yeah, the kick, whatever the Kick.
Wait, I have a question. I have Hulu, but I don't have Hulu Live. I don't use it for my live TV. Does that work?
I don't think it's live. I think it's on. Let me look right now. And
someone said it's on ABC TV though. So if you have like channel 5,
I just checked
in Boston. Yeah,
he's also apparently going on Dateline tomorrow, from what people are telling me. So
he's the grifter now, bitch.
I mean, he probably needs the money because
you think he's getting paid? I wonder. They don't usually pay anymore. I don't think he's getting paid.
No way.
He should.
He used to though.
If he's not getting paid, then he's insane to do these. So,
been on Dateline. I've been on.
I know, right?
I've been on a million things.
Dr. Phil.
They're not been on Dr. Phil. Yeah, that was actually fun. Yeah, you like that? The Hollywood Roosevelt for a couple days. Was in and out.
Back in the day, they actually did pay sometimes for
nice
like
hotel.
big interviews, but they don't do that mostly.
They're not
on TV.
Michael Proctor to come on.
Yeah,
okay?
no way.
They're selling Michael Proctor, whispering in his ear, saying, "Dude, you are considered garbage by the public, and this is an opportunity, and you should
help
do
you."
it." They're selling him to say, "We're doing you a favor." They're not paying him a nickel.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, I'm betting they're not doing him a favor either.
No, he's foolish. I mean, what could come out of this? Do you think anything helpful to Michael Proctor or anything helpful maybe to Karen Reed come out of this?
Well, and the other thing is Karen Reed doesn't have a whole lot of reason to go for defamation for most people, but Proctor, she might decide and now he's going to repeat shit outside of court. Oh, game on.
Yeah, you have a great point, because he did it in uniform, right? Under the color of the badge. So that seems like worse than what anyone else did.
If there is contemplation of a 1983 action, which again has to be against the government for civil rights violations, which would be Proctor, for allegedly violating her rights under the 4th Amendment for sure, and other things. And he says things that are stupid or untrue or helpful. The irony is, because, we know in the last trial, people like to play clips. Absolutely. This is for lawyers. I'll be watching this just looking for that. Like, is he going to do something that could potentially be used against him?
Right.
And if he's
even that.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, God forbid a prosecutor in the future wants to get all the footage that was, all the interview that wasn't actually aired, and they get that. That's why probably, like I said, doing an interview is never a good idea. Nothing good can come from this, especially, kind of gave Karen a situation where she did those interviews. You had a prosecutor that's airing all this footage on a television in the courtroom, and you never know what it comes to him. It's like, is it ever a good idea?
You had a prosecutor who did not call Michael Proctor, who almost certainly had to know Proctor did these interviews. and was making a big deal of Karen Reed doing all of these interviews. Now, again, I get it.
Right.
She's the defendant. They're admissible as
Right.
party admissions.
Right.
But I wonder if any of that factored into not calling Proctor, not making sure I had to, potentially get the B film and all the transcripts like they did for Karen and potentially disclosing it and subjecting Proctor to potential cross-examination with it. Who knows? But they had to know.
They do. They could have disclosed it to the defense too, right?
If the defense knew and they
Well-
could have pursued it, sure. I mean, I don't know if they knew. I mean, did any of us know?
Well, wouldn't the prosecutor, if Hank Brennan knew though, he's supposed to tell the defense, right?
Well, it's not in their possession, custody, or control. If he was a fair prosecutor, he would want to view it himself to be aware of what it says, afraid that the defense is going to get it anyway. But
Or just, I have a responsibility, so maybe I should check this out and, see if Proctor says something damaging, because if he's a fair prosecutor, he should want to turn things over. Like, I mean, I've had prosecutors go and I filed what we call a Stinchcomb application, which is an application for I want disclosure. And that's when they don't want to give it to you. And the prosecutor's like, yeah, actually, after I got your application, I realized I wanted this. So I made sure I got it. Like I demanded it from whoever it was who had it. And, here you go. And, this kind of thing, because they want to see it too, right? If it's relevant, why not look at it? I get nervous whenever a prosecutor is playing hide the evidence games.
yeah, any ethical prosecutor wants to know what he said. One, am I going to get damaged? But two, do I trust this guy? I mean, am I satisfied he's telling the truth?
Yeah, you want to know.
Why? I'm making an account for Kick so I can watch it. How come the username Auntie Debb's Gerbils is already taken? That is offensive. I'm just gonna say that. Secondly,
Totally.
it's offensive that it's taken. Secondly, do you think the Canton Select Board meetings are going to be crazy now that it's not
Oh my
guilty?
God. I think it might get ramped up again. Yeah.
That's
Well,
what
we'll see.
that's what I'm thinking.
Because they got Susan Harrington in there, so I haven't been watching them. I don't know how those have been going, but I have a feeling they might be a little cooler because they got they got some people on the board in their favor that are actually representing Canton residents. But I don't know. You're right. Might get a little spicy.
I think it will. I think because people are going to be like, "What are you going to do now that she's not guilty? Now what?" I can see that happening.
Well,
Well,
is it next
Chris
Tuesday? I'm going to see. Maybe it's Tuesday. Is it tonight? It must be tonight. I don't even know what day it is anymore. What day is it? Is it Tuesday?
Gerbil Smuggler is not taken. Okay.
No, they didn't take that one. Yeah, I'm forgetting. It's Wednesday today, so yeah. But I'm still like I don't know. I'm just having the time of my life today.
Oh,
Even though I knew that we might finally get a verdict, I was really feeling it the last few days, especially with Bederow and just holding my hand, and I felt it was coming, but I still it felt like deja vu. It felt like Groundhog Day again.
I was
are
like,
we ever going to get this? Is it ever going to happen?
it feels nice. It does.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's very nice. And
now
like,
what do we do, Jimmy? What do we do now?
I said this morning, dude. I'm like, instead of thinking like, what's next and what do we do and blah 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 and like, what's my identity? It's like, look at what this has given you. Look at what you've learned. Look at where you've come from. Look at what the skills you've gained from it, and think about what you want and use what you have now to get what you want. So you can take any trajectory. You could crash and burn, or you can pick up momentum and find out what you really want to do.
Can I offer a public service announcement?
Yeah,
Go ahead, sir.
My regular TV, and of course, I don't have Boston
ABC?
TV. I have New York City, and Channel 7 ABC at 8:00 says Karen Reed, the verdict, a special edition 2020. So it would appear to be on regular ABC.
It is. It's on ABC. The chat has let us know that as well.
What's
ABC,
up with my ABC?
I think it's on Hulu like next day, right? That's what Hulu's big thing is. Next day, everything's available on Hulu. Which
Maybe
is
get
probably-
you get an antenna then. Maybe go buy a $10 antenna. Or go watch it on Channel 5 and out of Boston.
I don't know what's up with my TV. I don't know. Something's going on.
Are you able to have this on or no? Or is that like a violation?
Me? To throw it on here? Yeah, I don't dare to. They will definitely whack us tonight. Yeah, fortunately.
I think that's probably why he's doing it on Kick.
Yeah, exactly. They would totally, toss out strikes like left, right, and center because this is their big moment, right?
Exactly.
2 hours.
It's better watching on Kick. Like if someone has a new account, they don't care about. That's where you stream it and you send everyone there, which we'll try to do after this is over. But I think Aiden's probably going to be streaming at 9 too, right? I mean, there's going to be a lot of options tonight, I think.
Karen Reed is going to be on from 8 to 10, and I'll shamelessly plug myself. I'll be on Banfield tonight at 10 o'clock.
Oh, that's right. You're on News Nation.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. How do we watch that?
If you have News Nation.
I don't even have
ABC. Cable television, News Nation. It's like a network like CNN or,
Cable or streaming, whatever. Yeah. No, it's, they've got. I used to go on the on that channel. I used to go on the Dan Abrams show a little bit. I like him a lot, actually. Some of the other hosts, that's the one O'Reilly's on now. It's not his show I'm going on. And who else is on that? Chris Cuomo is on News Nation.
Chris Cuomo from CNN, yeah. And Banfield used to be Banfield, whatever we get her name.
Ronnie the Juror is on right now.
She used to be on MSNBC.
Really?
I am so over Ronnie the Juror.
Ronnie
the Juror. Yeah.
Oh, him and his bow.
Get rid of, I don't like the bow tie, number one.
We don't like it anymore.
Tell us why you don't like it.
Just popped it on News Nation.
Really? Well, hold on. So he
got a brand new bow tie. He has a wife or a girlfriend. I'm just gonna say.
Allegedly. Why don't you guys like? Runkle said he doesn't like him. I want to hear this because I
don't like him either.
Yeah, no one does. Let's hear why we don't like Ronnie. We'll start with Runkle and then go.
I mean, his reasoning is awful, and in many places is exactly the opposite.
Because she wanted to eat
whatever. And the other thing is, the more he talks, the less I believe him about his vote. Right. And that's becoming a sort of running theme because he's like, I was voting to acquit, and then he's like, but let me just run you through exactly why and I'm like, why aren't you sitting here? Why do you never have the argument for why somebody would vote to acquit when you're supposedly the vote to acquit guy?
Who is he on?
Yeah, and the other juror called him out too on seemed like on that. Mm-hmm. The other juror that just recently went on Aiden's show seemed to call him out for that. That's what it felt like to me, at least.
I've got some doubt as to what side he was on, and yeah, and I don't like the bow tie either. Like a regular tie is basically an arrow that points to your dick. Bow tie is 2 arrows that do the same thing.
2 dicks.
Well, they're just.
Mike, Kurt from UnCivil Law wants to join. He wants a link. Everyone's reaching out to
Kurt.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to? Can you? Are you able to send him a link right now?
I don't know how to contact him. I'm not sure if he's on it.
All right, I'll get him. I'll find it. Hold on. I'll find him on Twitter. Let him know. You guys continue the convo, and I'll find Kirk.
All right. So I'm watching News Nation Live right now. There's a Julie Nagel-esque type of woman.
Yeah, who is
that? Nagel, probably.
It says her name is Misty Maris, a trialer. I don't know who that is, obviously.
That's a slutty name, Misty. Oh, now she's full screen. Ooh, a lot of woman. All right. Nothing wrong with that. I'm a lot of woman too. Nothing wrong with that, guys. Yeah, I don't like bow ties. I don't trust him.
If Kurt's listening, just tell him to send me a message. I can't find his Twitter account right now.
Okay, I'll find the link.
Tell him to send me a message, and I'll send him a link. But on Twitter,
actually, you know what? I'll just grab the link right here. I just found him. I'll send it over.
Cool.
Kurt, if you watch and look for an inbox message on X from me. There we go.
You know why I don't like him is because we had to do a second trial. That's why. If she was good on the first one, I would really like him. It's like you know what I mean? Yeah. Like you could have
blew it.
You could have prevented this big time. You could have spoken up.
I don't know. I don't believe Ronnie anymore when he says what side he was on, and I'm just like, sorry, dude. And I think it's kind of gross if he is lying about that, because if he is, then he's one manipulative sack of shit. So yeah,
Uncle, I noticed. I noticed you moved your eyes like him when you were He's got that weird
probably
eye
because
thing.
I've
Have you
got
noticed?
multiple screens that I'm looking at.
Okay.
I'm just
But
looking at his view right
I've
now.
noticed that he does this weird eye thing. Like, has anyone else noticed that with Ronnie? What do you
seems to
do?
be looking down as if he's reading.
Yeah. Yeah. And Runkle did it when he was talking about him. I don't know if it was subconscious
There's
or
some other guy in the window. There's like 3 of them, and he kind of looks like the guy from No Country for Old Men. No, I'm not sure who.
Oh,
Who's that one?
look at he's so proud of himself. Look at him in his bow tie. He figured out his angles. I'll give him that. Give him that. Oh,
So we're watching court TV now. Is that what?
No, it's on.
it's
This is
on
the
what?
channel I'll go on later.
Bederow. I feel like it used to be on like New York 1 in cabs. Like I put that on, and like there'd be you explaining some case.
New York 1 is like a big deal in New York. That's what everyone watches for like morning news, weather, da 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 da. It's kind of like a cult channel here. I think it's like your version of what do you have, like NECN or whatever you call it, where it just loops every New England cable news or something. I don't know.
We don't have
What's that
that.
bought? Well, we used to. New England Cable News is now owned by NBC, so it's like a different feel than it used to. It used to be truly like an independent thing, and
Yeah,
weird.
and New York
Now it's
1
like-
is
Gross. Oh, my preview's ended. Now I got to connect my TV provider.
So,
Sorry about-
any
sorry
final
about
thoughts from you guys tonight?
No,
Let's go to no final Auntie Debb thoughts.
I'll give
tonight?
one. I'll
You
give one.
just
I will give one. I will give one.
they said Kelly's trying to get on. Can you get Kelly up? That would be great.
Oh yeah,
Kelly's.
I gave her
Kelly
the
left.
link earlier.
Yeah, she's unable to make it now. She just texted me back. So
Was she trying to get on?
she was. She said she. I'll talk to you offline.
All right.
I'll talk to you.
trying to
offline.
get her.
I'm gonna be doing a celebration thing in about half an hour, but other than that,
You got to go.
Oh no, I got half an hour, but
Okay, cool.
I'm just so relieved about this. This
I know.
case being done.
I know exactly, Runkle. And nice to meet you, by the way, Runkle. It's we've never been on the
likewise.
same show, so yeah, thank you, appreciate it.
I kind of met you earlier when I was at Starbucks trying to watch the verdict, and that did not go well. I wasn't peeing. I was sitting in the middle of the freaking thing. It was pretty bad.
You saw the
Holding my
verdict?
pee, like, well, I did. I was there, and I'm like trying to get on Defense Diaries, but like my phone kept screwing up, and I didn't want to leave like the spot I was standing in because I'm like, if I leave and if I pee, something will go wrong. The world will end. It's an OCD thing, and I couldn't get on. They couldn't hear me, but I saw this guy sitting down watching on his laptop. So I was like, "Move over. Can I watch this with you?" And we, complete stranger, we watched it.
Hilarious. That's awesome.
Mm.
Bringing people together. Watching some free Karen Reed.
All right, I'm gonna go get ready though to watch this.
All
I'm gonna
right.
make some popcorn. Make some
You
popcorn.
got to
and
go.
Go turn some cucumbers into pickles. I'll see you guys later.
There you go.
Congratulations,
Auntie
Auntie
Debb, take
Debb.
care of
Thank you
yourself.
for being here tonight.
Those
See you
are his
guys.
final thoughts. I'm going to go
I know.
make cucumbers and pickles. Okay.
There we go. Auntie Debb, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, you can't get a better exit line than that. Any final thoughts? I got to make cucumbers and pickles.
I know. I was expecting like he was going to do a Bederow. Like sometimes he does imitations. Waiting to
I've
see
learned.
him.
Yeah,
And there was
heard-
maybe too last minute.
It's okay. He's hilarious. I love it.
Yeah,
Oh, he
he's
is.
fun. We like him. I love Jimmy too because he's really stepped up. Like he's for such a small channel. Like in terms of like he's got a big heart, but he raised so much money. And I know his channel's getting bigger now and bigger, but like I would say per follower, he raised more money than any of us. Like that's like says a lot right there. Like when you don't have 10,000 people watching you and you're raising just as much money as other shows that do, it's pretty it's special. People love him. They're just so into him. What are your final thoughts tonight, Mazza Media?
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah. Mike, first of all, we've done a lot of shows together. Mark Bederow, attorney Mark Bederow, we've done a lot of shows together, the three of us. It was, both years we got something we wanted and something we didn't. Last year we got the Celtics winning the NBA championship. We didn't get the end of the Karen Reed case. This year we get the Karen Reed victory, but we don't get the Celtics championship. But at the end of the day, At least we got a Celtics championship. At least we got Karen Reed acquitted. And that's the most important part. It's definitely very relieving today. It's been a I'm speechless. I'm speechless. I just, my mind has still not accepted the reality that this is really, like, Karen Reed really walked out that door today of that courthouse, and there's not going to be a third trial. There's not going to be a whole wave of hearings. Basically, this is it now. I may never have to hear or see Judge Beverly Cannoni again. And that would be great. But I just got tired of watching a Disney movie where the good princess took on the evil queen in the castle of Dedham, or castle of Norfolk County, and it was a constant battle. I just got tired of watching Karen go through this. And yeah, someone made a great point. I'm glad I came back too. I had to take a step away for a while, and I'm glad I came back.
Never seen Mazza speechless before. This is a thing to see. Let's bring up UnCivil Law as well. I want to make sure we get him on tonight.
Yeah.
You are speechless.
Yeah, I'm going to drop off here. I got another show at 8:30 LTL. I'm going to be jumping on with him at 8:30. I haven't even eaten dinner yet. But yeah, I'm very happy Karen Reed is free. This is a very relieving moment. It's a very successful moment. We finally have got victory for Karen. Karen's finally got victory. Her family has victory. And I have nothing to be spicy over. That's it. So that's my final thoughts. I'll see you guys again in time. Mark Bederow, Ian Runkle.
Something to eat. Get some
Mike
wings.
Crawford.
You gotta eat today. I
had the wings too. I had the celebration wings 2 nights ago by mistake. I couldn't help myself, Mike. So yeah, Karen Reed is freed. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Hallelujah and praise God. That's all I got.
Hello, I'm Hank Brennan. How are you?
Hi, Hank Brennan.
Thank you.
I'm out, guys. Take care. Bye.
Great trial today.
We got Hank Brennan here. I thought it was UnCivil Law, but it's actually Hank Brennan here.
It's Hank Brennan here, yes. We had a great trial today.
Why were you so easy on Karen Reed in the end? Why didn't you try to throw the book at her, Hank?
Well, I saw the writing on the wall and just had to get out of there. That's enough of that, I think. How are you guys doing?
Good. How you doing, Kurt?
I'm doing great. I'm in good spirits.
I'm in good spirits.
It's a wonderful day. It's a great day for justice. It's a great day for Karen Reed. It's a great day that this is over finally. I'm very pleased with the results. I think the jury came to the right decision. I'd like to know what they spent so much time talking about. Hopefully, we'll get some insight from the jury at some point relating to what their discussions looked like.
Maybe the lunches were just really good.
Maybe those lobster rolls and foie gras and baked Alaska was just too good. Who knows?
It's 8:01 p.m. and we're already watching Proctor dab his eyes with pity. So just get ready for
exciting. Exciting. I was looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm looking
forward to the tears.
I'm having a good time watching that tonight. It's I wonder, do you think Jennifer McCabe is watching that tonight?
Probably.
Sure, why not? I mean, for all you know, she may have very well participated in it. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, hell, Proctor did that. I mean, who would have thought that, right?
Yeah. How could that be good for him?
It can't.
Yeah.
Maybe they paid him. He's just desperate for that revenue.
I mean, he's going to cry and whatever. And, we can go back to the conversation we had earlier today. This is what he would have done on the witness stand. And does it impress anyone? Probably not. I mean, he's just damaged goods, right? He's the third rail. Nobody wants to touch him because you'll light up and electrocute yourself.
I mean, could you ever hire him in another police force? Because it's Officer Proctor, let's talk about your arrest of my client. What did you do for work previously? Where did you work before? And it's like, he's just going to get slaughtered.
It's the text message. You can't ever fix it. No matter, you could say, I didn't plant evidence or they maligned me, but you can't ever explain away from an employment standpoint the things he said in those messages, which are so beyond the pale.
Yeah, for any corporate job, I think he'd even have a hard time getting cashier.
And Somebody in chat mentioned Wendy Murphy has just said stupid jurors should be stripped of citizenship. So if you're wondering how she's doing,
You can't be serious.
isn't she a professor, like a law professor somewhere?
Not anymore, I don't think. I think that she
Ever?
it's you know it was interesting is
Because I'd fire
she-
her for that.
yeah, she definitely used to be. I'm not sure if she still is, but she used to write for the Herald too. And I hadn't seen her columns forever, but recently they actually did put a column in the Herald,
She
about
did
the
say
Karen
that.
Reed with Wendy Murphy, which is, I don't know.
Think about how stupid the Karen Reed jury had to be to find her guilty of OUI, the charges with the weakest evidence, and not guilty of manslaughter, which Reed admitted to, and the undisputed text stream data proved beyond all doubt stupid jurors should be stripped of citizenship. She is the biggest sack of shit lawyer you will ever come across in your life. I mean, this is just beyond the pale. You are a disgrace, an embarrassment to your profession, and that tweet should live forever. The jury didn't do what I think they should have done, so they're stupid and should be stripped of citizenship. This is a self-styled civil rights lawyer and feminist. You're a joke.
I'm not really feeling either of those things from that tweet, to be quite honest. If I understood what either of those things were.
I'm actually feeling more competence issue. Like this seems like the sort of thing that might be an issue for the bar.
I guess we don't really believe in that idea. Better that 10 guilty men go free than one innocent person go to jail, I guess. Damn.
He is advocating the removal of citizenship of people who did their civil duty, deliberated for 4.5 days, actually issued a split verdict, actually.
They did a great job.
A little bit, sent 4 notes, 2 of which were legal questions. And this Duke lacrosse truther, previously sanctioned moron with a law degree, wants them stripped of citizenship because they're stupid.
You know, not for nothing, but I think it was 50, if not 60 years ago, the U.S. Supreme Court decided that you can't strip a natural born citizen of citizenship. That's not possible. So that's only been case law for, half a century.
I also just tried to pull up her webpage, and very interestingly, it's 404ing. And I'm like, oh, that's
We didn't pay the fee.
A lot of things
forgot to pay the fee.
Our brain 404 about 10 years ago, apparently.
Yeah.
But I'm just
See what I mean? I don't think
actually
she's a professor
lawyer
anymore. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think she actually practices much anymore.
But if she ever was a professor, I'm appalled.
She was, and I'm not sure she is anymore, from what I hear. But I don't know for sure. But
I haven't seen a law professor that dumb since that Stanford professor a couple years back that argued that women can't be lawyers. Remember that woman from a couple years ago during Johnny Depp, where she's like, women can't be lawyers because it's incompatible with their womanhood? She was a law professor at Stanford. What the hell?
Wendy Murphy was a prosecutor.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. I've met some prosecutors, but I mean, she would have been. Wouldn't that have been the greatest thing for Karen Reed if they'd brought Wendy Murphy on to run this trial instead?
Yeah, maybe she can show us the way. That'd be good.
that would be something else.
Here's another one.
Talk about the land of the misfit toys. That would be just.
The public is now on notice that murder is legal for rich people in Massachusetts. Massachusetts has the most disgusting legal system on earth because it allows jurors with low IQs to decide serious cases. It also has a racist system because it sends poor black men to prison only because they can't spend millions on PR. You know what?
Wow.
She should be sanctioned.
It should be.
Well, not for nothing, but the average person by definition has an IQ of 100, and you would expect half the people to be below that, and we allow the normal people to be on the jury. So if you by low IQ you mean below average, then that's just the nature of the system. So I don't know what she means. So yeah.
God,
Did that just occur to her? That
I don't know.
Half the people are below 100?
No,
half the people are below 100. That's true.
She's just providing a justification for her existence, which is I'm pushing the average down so that your score is better.
Yeah.
She's like, you're welcome.
That
Man,
must
she
be
is
one
a trip. She is
dinner.
a shrimp.
I mean, if we understand these terms the way they're supposed to be, like beyond a reasonable doubt, the highest standard that's supposed to be applied, the governmental burden, presumption of innocence, then it should require quite a lot to convict somebody. So, as the defense correctly points out, even if you believe that she most likely did it, she's the most probable, highly likely. That's not supposed to be good enough. So, what are we doing here? I don't
By the
understand.
way, this show looks to be 99% a rehash of their other shows. I'm sure they'll sprinkle in
the new.
Well, they'll put the Proctor stuff in, and they've put some verdict highlights. But I have it on silent. But I'm watching it. It appears to be old interviews. You know, Karen in that dress. You've seen the old. It's all the same. It's probably updated 10 minutes over the course of 2 hours.
Someone said Phelpsy. Is Phelpsy on there? Do you know Phelpsy? You know who he is?
I don't know.
Yeah, he's the guy that the leather jacket. I don't know. It's funny. He's the guy that was a podcast that Aiden got associated with, and then they had a falling out.
Yeah, he contacted me. I interviewed with him. He told me he was a fan of Aiden, and it was a pro Aiden interview. We had conversations that were very. He was sympathetic and favorable, and I don't care. But, you know, they put him in touch with me. That is certainly not the way he portrayed it. I don't care. I mean, obviously, I ended up on the cutting room floor.
Probably best. So, yeah, I mean, this has been just an amazing run, amazing day, amazing week. Do we have any final thoughts tonight? Maybe we go to UnCivil Law and then Runkle, the Bailey, Mark Bederow. We'll just go in that order. If you want to bring anything else up we haven't brought up today, anything, open to everything.
I just am impressed with the defense team. They did an exceptional job they just ran this case in every way they could. I really appreciate just like their due diligence. The one where I really sort of noted it, where there was like one of the Aperture witnesses, they were asking about testimony that was offered in a different case. Like, has it ever been the case that in a case in like a federal court where something, I forget the exact details, but they actually did the diligence to like look at every case this person had been involved in and like every piece of testimony to see if there was anything to find. I mean, that's a lot of effort to go through to pull like every case has been involved in and pull all those records on the off chance that maybe there's something in one of those cases you could use for impeachment. And when they asked that question, I was like, wow, these guys have really done their diligence to be able to find that. And it was really impressive. These guys thought things through. They worked this out, you know, with the whole like issue with the OWI, DUI, whatever we're calling in this jurisdiction, just like that whole issue relating to it. I mean, they calculated this out and they gamed this out in every possible way. They did their due diligence, and just the thoroughness and diligence of the whole thing is amazing. The other thing that sort of makes me think of is sort of the somewhat depressing aspect that, you know, if Karen Reed hadn't popped off the way she had, which, you know, there was no guarantee of that happening with Turtle Boy or anyone else. You know, if for whatever combination of reasons it hadn't garnered attention, you know, and she had been stuck with, I'm sure, good lawyers, but, you know, lawyers that, you know, maybe one really good lawyer or something, you know, it could be a completely different outcome. And there's a lot of people that maybe are in that situation. There might be people that are being screwed as bad if not worse than Karen Reed. In other cases, you know, one of the things that's depressing when you read some cases is you realize just how deep the corruption can go. I read U.S. Supreme Court cases sometimes. I'm like, oh, geez, no, it can get way, way worse, and it can get really depressing. So the thing that makes me think of is like how many people are out there with great lawyers, but just don't have the resources, time, energy, staff. They're just one person, not a team of 5. Just don't have the ability to dive in every way, don't have the resources to hire the best quality experts, if they can get an expert at all, if they're court appointed. How many people are getting screwed over in how many cases by corrupt prosecutors, corrupt police officers? Like, hopefully it doesn't happen very often, but if it happens, you know, one time out of 10,000, you know, we're a big country. That's still a lot of people. And so, like, I don't know how to fix that systemically. because basically the legal system has come to place by trying to fix everyone's problem. We want to prosecute the guilty and we want to not prosecute the innocent. So like, how do we deal with this in a systemic way? I don't know how to solve that problem, but good for Karen Reed. But how many people out there are not Karen Reed that we never know their names? We don't even know they exist and have gotten screwed because a police officer fudged a report or whatever. It's somewhat depressing that, I guess it's the flip side of that old quote of it's like, never doubt that, a few committed people can change the world because it's the only thing that ever has. The flip side of that quote, how many people does it take to change the world for the good? Actually, not that many. How many people does it take to change the world for the bad? Not that many. So something about the human condition is my final thoughts. Is that too much of a black pill for final thoughts?
No, I think it's perfect. I think we're all thinking about this stuff. I think it's perfect. You could go either way, and so many people did step up on this. It's been amazing to see. I think that's one thing most people don't have is the eyeballs and a turtle boy and all those sleuths on their side too. But beyond the great, group of attorneys, she had so much support. Runkle, what do you got?
I just want to say I think that this might have dethroned the OJ trial for the dream team of lawyers, because not only did we see exceptional lawyers individually, but we saw something that you rarely see with a team of lawyers, which is exceptional lawyers working together as a team in a way that is really amazing to watch. Like the way they're, helping each other, the way they're working as a consistent unit. I mean, Karen Reed had representation that is, there was only one thing missing from her representation to be just perfect, but she came pretty close, and that's right there. But I mean,
that's my fault. They tried, I tried. Thank you, Judge. Thanks a lot. But
thank you, Bev.
But for that, she might be sitting in a cell right now, and that's how fragile justice can be. I'm in awe of the team there, because that was probably well over $1 million worth of lawyering that she got. And you can see how it mattered. You can see how it gets us to the truth there. And, I'm just in awe. I'm thankful for every one of those lawyers who stepped up or who tried to step up and, who was there to help her out. They did an amazing job, and I don't know when we'll see lawyering like that again. So that's, I guess, my final thought on that.
It's something to see.
Well, you won't see lawyering like that again until they somehow let me on for the next thing. No, just kidding.
Well, we're going to watch it on Turtle Boy. I think.
Well,
I've also been impressed by you and Bredel, what you guys have been doing.
Oh, absolutely.
So I'm looking forward to seeing what you do on Turtle Boy, Mr. Bederow.
Easier lawyer to work with, just on the point you were making in terms of, and sometimes these things are like arranged marriages too, so you never know, right? I mean, it can be weird, it can be awkward. There's no pre-existing relationship, and it clicked like that. It's fine. So that's not going to be an issue. As far as this, it's 3.5 years of the end to what, in my view, in my 26.5 years of this, which is probably the single most disgraceful and ill-advised prosecution I've ever seen, or certainly it's up there. And, everything was stacked against them. You had probably a corrupt police investigation. You had a DA's office that was obsessed with going after the target rather than using the evidence to see if there ought to be a target. They tried to bleed her. You had, in a courthouse, which ironically is most famous for crucifying Sacco and Vanzetti, probably sentencing them to death for a crime they didn't commit, in Norfolk County, Massachusetts. And this has been a hell of a ride for a lot of people, most primarily Karen, her family, and her lawyers. But it's 3.5 years, and it's completely over. I mean, they put an end with an emphatic win in just a horrible, horrible, disgraceful prosecution. And I'm curious to see what kind of fallout comes from the people who are responsible for this. Proctor's already out of a job. God knows what else is going on with the state police. We know there have been some punishments and transfers in there, but primarily I'm looking at Michael Morrissey. What happens to him? I think it's just a matter of time. He's cooked. I mean, I don't know how he couldn't be. And, we'll see what other proceedings come out of this. Who knows? Maybe none, other than the civil case she's already fighting. But it's also going to be interesting to see what does she do. She's been smeared and beaten down pretty roughly for 3.5 years, and it's not easy to just pretend it didn't happen and go out to dinner. I mean, she's now a public figure for somebody who never wanted to be one, never chose to be. And the reality is that certainly in Massachusetts and beyond that, every time she goes out in public, that's scary. It's scary. And that's tough when you don't sign up for that as like an all-star athlete or, musician or whatever. So I think it'll be interesting to see where she goes and what happens to the people who are responsible for what could have been just a travesty of justice and who gave a textbook lesson in how not to investigate and prosecute serious criminal cases.
Thank you all. Thank you for being here tonight. 3 attorneys right here: UnCivil Law, Kurt, Runkle, Ian Runkle the Bailey, Mark Bederow. Before I let you go, tell us how people can follow you, watch your YouTubes, or in Bederow's case, he's on X, Twitter. UnCivil Law.
I can be found. I can be found on the channel UnCivil Law. In the near future, I'm catching up on the U.S. Supreme Court because it's June. For those of you who don't know, the U.S. Supreme Court term goes from the first Monday in October to the end of June. So June tends to be a busy month, and there have been there were 6 cases like today, and there were 6 cases on Thursday. There's been a lot of cases that have come down recently, and some big ones at that. So I'm going to try to catch up on the U.S. Supreme Court, catch up on those cases, and try to provide some intelligent commentary relating to that. And we'll go from there. So you can catch me at UnCivil Law.
So
and
we checking
I'm
you
on
out.
it. Oh, sorry. I'm on it. Runkle of the Bailey. That's the easiest place to find me. If you go on YouTube, it'll autocomplete because not a lot of Runkle out there. And I talk about all sorts of things. There's probably going to be some Canadian issues that I am behind on. I'll be catching up on. So there might be some other exciting things in the little bit to come as well. So, yeah.
I think you just won an award for the amount of charity work you've been doing. You've raised a ton of money. Tell people how much money you've raised on your channel and what that's about.
So I do an Extra Life fundraiser, and it wasn't an award. I was just at a reception thing that they throw for fundraisers and so forth. And I'm just pulling it up here. My lifetime total is just a little over $250,000 raised. I'm just pulling up my profile here. And we're going to be doing it again this year. I will probably send out invites to be like, hey, I hope you guys will, sort of join the, the lifetime total is $279,536.68 apparently.
Sweet.
We'll be doing it again this year. I do a 24-hour fundraiser. We set the goal at 100,000, which is what we hit last year. It's an ambitious goal, but it helps kids. I got to see at their little thing. They've got some stuff that they show off that they're doing. My first memory is of being in an oxygen tent. So some of this stuff is a little, but my mom was there as much as she could be. And they were showing that they have little carts to now provide supplies and comfort items for parents. And I was like, oh, that's cool. They were showing off this MRI simulator that they built. And it's basically to get kids used to the MRI so that they can go and do like a practice simulation MRI with toys. And they say that it's gotten them up to be able to do MRIs for almost all of the kids without sedation, which has been a problem because, you don't want to sedate kids necessarily, if you can avoid it. They've got like a robot that they use to distract kids so that they can put in a, IVs. They got all sorts of cool stuff they were showing off. And so, all of that is what the fundraising goes to. And they've got some big needs because they're really hoping to try to get to being able to build a new hospital sometime soon, because they want to have the Stollery is sort of a it's sort of like a facility within a facility kind of thing, and they're hoping to build like an entire dedicated hospital just for the kids. And I would love to see them get to that goal. So that'll be I think November is the big day for that, and we'll have that. So I got to start making items for it because we also do some auctions and so forth. So that'll be a plan.
Say, let us know. I definitely want to check that out. Watch it. Anything we can do to help out with that, I would love to support it. Thank you so much, Ian Runkle. Follow all these guys on YouTube as well. UnCivil Law, Runkle of the Bailey, Mazza Media was here earlier. Mark Bederow, he's on Twitter X, Bederow Law at Bederow Law. If you ever need a legal help, he's at bederowlaw.com. Mark, you have any shows, anything coming up, anything planned? You're doing the big show coming up tonight, right? News Nation?
Yeah, Banfield tonight at 10. Sometime soon there'll be a wrap up in the little series of I guess podcast videos with Peter, which I guess will come out sometime in a few days. I don't know. Other than that, they come randomly. Nothing planned that far out.
And people are worried they're going to lose you. They're like, what are we going to do if we don't have Mark Bederow every week? You're still going to be kicking around. Tell people so they don't lose their mind.
Stay, as I like to say, 2 or 3 steps ahead of the creditors and keep the lights on. So I'm not. I got to earn a living.
Yes, you'll be back to work, and I'll definitely be still invite you on this show. So there's always going to be. I'm telling you, YouTubers aren't going to stop having Bederow on. We love Bederow.
Oh, 100%.
Kowloon sometime in the next God knows how long. Hopefully not too long.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. It's my honor to have Runkle the Bailey, Mark Bederow, Kurt from UnCivil Law. Thank you so much, guys, for being here tonight.
Take care.
Thank you. And congratulations to you all. This is such an amazing thing to happen that you were all a part of. I'm so honored. I want to thank Lothario. There were other names, JFK, got another great investigator, did some great work. So many people. Like Mark said, we're going to be leaving people out. But I also want to thank our moderators. Amazing ladies. I think they're very happy tonight watching the show. I know that they love Runkle, so they were happy Runkle's here. They love Bederow. I know they also like Kurt from UnCivil Law, and they like Mazza too. So I think they were very happy tonight. But I want to thank them. MJ, she's like the first one. She was my first mod ever. She kind of created the crew here. And I want to thank Jen O, who's been around for a long time. She's been a great support to me with some of the legal stuff this year too, just having someone to bounce off some issues. Really appreciate Jen O, Stephanie, and Sarah and Shock and Hara. Those are the ladies in the chat. I'm always thankful for them. And Scott McGinnis, he's another one of on our mod team. Man, I'm just speechless tonight. This was like the best way to end a week. Usually you don't end a week on a Wednesday, but it sure feels like it. It feels like we can move on to the weekend, have our long weekend now. I don't know when I'm going to do another show, another stream. Maybe tomorrow. Who knows? We'll probably celebrate for a while here. But we will be doing shows. There will be things coming up. Auntie Debb tonight as well. I want to thank Auntie Debb. Auntie Debb was amazing tonight. It's always great when I have Auntie Debb on the show. This was so much fun tonight. Just all the people who came on. And I want to thank Mark Bederow, big time. I want to thank Howie Carr for letting me come on his show for like 5 minutes today. That was amazing. I also want to thank Grace Curley, whose show I was on as well today. And I'm gonna go through all the super chats because there's like a million of them here, and I told everyone I would read them at the end. So let's go through the super chats. I want to thank Sean Broadwick, who said $4.99. Said, "Let's go. Karen is free. Woohoo!" Indeed, Karen is free. Jennifer Richards Kaplan sent a super sticker for $49.99. Wow, very generous. Thank you, Jennifer. Wow. Cheryl Reed sent $5 tonight. Thank you so much. Amy Robleski sent $4.99. Thank you, Amy. I also got $14.99 Australian from Alan Perry. Said, Mark, given I've been following for 2.5 years for Australia, do you think the international tension will have any effect of the wheels of justice in that jurisdiction? Not sure about that. Next time, ask the question for free in the chat. We didn't ask too many questions tonight. It's true. It's more like a celebration party tonight. Lally Sudoku sent $10 and said, who do the McAlberts think they are to release a statement today before the O'Keefes? I know, right? I thought that was the most tone-deaf thing about it. And if they're going to say anything, it should just be about the O'Keefes, just like Bederow said. The first sentence was fine. Leave it at that. But they had to get there. Oh, everyone's a conspiracy theorist. It's that, yeah. It's really sad what they did. It's really kind of gross. The arrogance to paint themselves as victims is off the charts. I hope this starts the O'Keefe search for the truth. Thank you, Lally Sudoku. Par P said $4.99. We should all have ham sandwiches to celebrate not guilty verdict. Ham and cheese. Enjoy your ham and cheese tonight. What the Duck said 20 said, thank you for all you have done and for being a safe space for everyone to have a voice and be heard. I'm so glad that we could offer that, and very thankful for our chat and all of the members in the chat as well. We have a great chat, and everyone is very nice to each other. I want to thank everyone who's been there watching every day. Paulina G sent €5, says, thank you so much for all you do. Not guilty. Thank you, Paulina. Thank you for watching and supporting. Mimi K sent $10 and said, I cried like a baby when Aiden came out of the courthouse today. Just imagine how he felt. Thank you, Aiden. You helped free Karen Reed, literally. I know, I feel so good for Aiden. It's funny, I saw Aiden on Friday and yesterday, and I was like hugging him. I was like, dude, I just, every time I see him, I want to hug the guy. I really do. So I just want to give him support. And it feels really good for Karen and Aiden, especially. I got to say. They were the ones that stood up the strongest on this. They never wavered. So it feels so good about it. MT gifted 5 Young Jerks memberships. Thank you so much, MT, for doing that tonight. Sarah, she said, thank you, Mike. Love, and for those asking, freekarenreed.net to donate to her legal defense fund. For people that don't know, yes, we've been raising money for a long time for her. You can just go freekarenreed.net if you're still just learning about this case. And she definitely still needs money for her legal defense. Trust me, the cost was through the roof. And there's some upcoming fundraisers as well. I think there's going to be one in Bourne, Massachusetts, upcoming in a couple of weeks. We're definitely going to promote that. freekarenreed.net if you want to donate tonight to her legal defense fund. Let's keep helping her tackle the financial burden. Love you, Jerks. Thank you so much, Sarah. That's Sarah in Shock and Horror. She's one of our mods here. Thank you so much, Sarah, for donating and texting me. And she's always there. Thank you so much, Sarah. Carla FKR became a YouTube member tonight. Thank you, Carla. Hot takes on internet fakes at $9.99 said, imagine how many innocent people are in jail. We should be terrified. Exactly. There are definitely innocent people in jail. Sad but true. Johnny B sent $2 and said, please consider a Lawtubers group panel about the trial. I think we kind of did that tonight, didn't we? Is that what I think you were asking for it, Donnie, and I think you got it tonight. I think you probably asked that early. Yeah, it was. It was about, that was before we actually just did that. That's pretty much what we did tonight. So I think you're very happy. Thank you so much. Common Sense Investigator sent to $1.99. Thank you so much. Monique Shoemaker. Wait, let me say that again. I'm gonna have trouble tonight with the names. Monique Schmucker, Coach Mo, became a member for 6 months. She said, huge shout out to all of the expert witnesses too. Yeah, they did phenomenal. The ARCO witnesses, the doctors, the female doctors, the 2 women doctors, they were phenomenal. The Dighton police officer, Lucky. I'm very thankful for a lot of people that stood up here. Yeah, we did it. We did it. We certainly did do it. Cheers to Runkle, of course. Thank you so much. I'm hiccuping now. Excuse me. Hold on. I may be here all night reading super chats. It's maybe a long night. Let's just keep going. Here's my friend, Life in Mexico City with Jesus Gringo. He called in last night. He's a great caller. He's a great YouTuber creator as well. Twitter, I see him. I think he's on TikTok as well. He says, I don't make a lot of money in Mexico City, but I feel like I owe you something for all the shows I've watched, especially since I'm trying to give you homework to try and fix the Massachusetts judicial system. Great work, man. I appreciate that. You definitely do not have to donate to me from Mexico City, but I definitely do appreciate you. I consider you a friend now too. You've called in quite a few times and left comments, and I definitely appreciate you. Thank you so much. G-Force Lexus in the Sky sent $10 and said Karen made the comment about justice for John because she's learned about the shit mainstream media and how they only pick up talking points. It was a great move because tonight's headlines are all free Karen Reed. Absolutely. She's learned she's better at PR than the McAlberts. You'd think the McAlberts would pick up some sense on that. Karen actually seems like she knows more about it now. The McAlberts, not so much. Lord Vader says, no points for Brendan. It was 100% self-preservation. Maybe. But yeah, I mean, you got to give him at least a little credit for making the right move. Meatball Morrissey Sketty Stain sent $9.99, said, how flipping embarrassing for the Commonwealth to bring murder trial twice and walk away with a misdemeanor OUI. It's like going deep sea fishing and reeling in a goldfish. I know. Imagine that too, like millions of dollars spent, all that time, money and effort, and you get an OUI. A nothing burger. You got what the defense gave you, basically. You know, and they probably wouldn't even got the OUI or any charges at all if they hadn't put the OUI on there, you know, just like Bederow said. And I think the defense did phenomenal. Those guys should be, and the lady on the defense team, all of them, they should be so proud of themselves. Mildred Katie said $4.99. I was outside the courthouse, amazed that Brennan had strength to come outside and face the crowd. I know, huh? Mo said $5 and says Aperture was proven to be a lie in 2007 and again in 2025. If you know, you know. I didn't know that. I'm gonna have to look that up. I wonder what that was about. I'd like to hear more about that, Mo. I'll have to look into that. I have more time now. Cash Money Cast at $1.99 said, what happens to the Lexus they bought? Good question. I heard they were selling it off. Chris Diaz sent $5 and said, I demand all journalists need your help on this to show up to DA's office and demand a statement, a presser from Meatball as soon as possible. I would love to see that, especially the ones who are full-time professionals with the networks, the TV news guys. Any TV news producer should be sending their people out to ask those questions. Absolutely. I agree with you, Chris. We need just like Bederow said tonight, we need to know a lot more from Michael Morrissey. John Abedabot said odds anti-Karen Reed crowd stays relevant by asking who actually done it. Place your bets, please. No, they're not going to ask that. They're going to continue to attack Karen Reed, or they're going to go away because they really don't actually care. So we know they're not doing that, John. That's a great question. Thank you so much for the super chat tonight. Reggie Edwards sent $1.99, said Boston police pressuring to do the right thing. I know that was pretty outrageous with what they did with their police officer in this trial. And a journalist should definitely ask the Boston Police Commissioner Cox about what he did. And that should be a journalist. Hopefully someone from the Boston Globe wakes up. Maybe the folks at WGBH, Jim and Marjorie, would actually try to get the police chief in there and ask him about it, or take a call about it. To the moon, Alice sent $1.99. Says we need to support Turtle Boy. Absolutely, that's everything for me now. That's exactly what I'm doing. Everybody needs to support Turtle Boy. Amy Smith sent $5. Someone better get their passports. The entire group are gonna be under the microscope. If I were them, I'd be probably just take off and leave the state. Hope no one knows you wherever you go. And the big thing about the Turtle Boy thing too, I think, everyone needs to step up. Everyone. Annie Mayer sent 11.99 euros. Says, will they open a new investigation into John's death vis-a-vis the McAlberts? Are the FBI done, do you think? That's a good question. We were wondering about that tonight. You can see what the lawyers thought. Some of the panelists, they think that the evidence is gone. There was never done a proper investigation. It's going to be really hard to convict anybody of John O'Keefe's murder at this point. And instead of being mad at Karen Reed, instead of being mad at Turtle Boy, instead of being mad at YouTubers like myself or some of the Lawtubers and the guests that we had on the show tonight, the anti-Karen Reed people should be mad at Michael Morrissey. And they should be asking him questions. And they should be putting pressure on him and getting him out of office, because he's the one who screwed it up. It's the Mass State Police. Can't please Michael Morrissey. So if they really cared about John O'Keefe, that's what they would be doing. Thank you, Auntie Bev's Kangaroo Court and 3 Ring Circus for the 10 Young Jerks memberships tonight. Very much appreciate that. Congratulations to the people who became members tonight. Habeas Curtains, FKR, sent $1.99. Says, I Googled court TV complaint form and filed on JG. I would never recommend or suggest that anyone should get, complaints filed, but that's on you. It's up to you. And I'm not discounting it or discouraging it, but I'm also not encouraging it. People need to do what they feel is right. Thank you for the donation. Fox Racer 1703 sent $5 and said, not one fund for kids golf tourney scholarship in his name. Shame, shame, shame. Everybody knows your name. Thank you, Mike Chat and guest. Love the channel. Well, maybe that's something, I'm glad you actually brought that up, because there's been a lot of, I think, pressure on the O'Keefes. Honestly, they've been at a tough spot, and I have felt bad. And maybe this is an opportunity for them. If I were them, I would be looking for some professional group, charity maybe, to do something like that in his honor, like a good cause, something that, because I think that would actually bring people together. And I think the Free Karen Reed people I know are the most generous people around. And they will definitely support any type of charity event in John O'Keefe's name. So I think if I were them, I would start trying to find something positive that you can remember John for and have it be his legacy. Have something to do with kids and sports. The guy loved basketball, local basketball. You could tell he's a football player. Like his brother was a football player. So why not do something like that? Something for the kids for sports with John O'Keefe. I would love to see that. I think that's exactly what the family should focus on now, because they could do a lot of good with John's name for kids, local kids in the area. How about some Braintree kids where they grew up? I hope they have that in mind. Please Pass the Pepper sent $19.99. Thank you so much. Please Pass the Pepper. We heard Runkle. You hear what Runkle's doing with his channel. Imagine what they could do with John O'Keefe's name for a good cause. Fox Racer 1703 sent $5. Said, love you, Auntie, the original DGB, looking so good lately. Please keep selling merch. Can't wait for your tour. Don't stop. You are talented. XOXO. I love Auntie Debb. Auntie Debb was great again tonight. Very happy to have Auntie Debb on the show. And Mazza and the attorneys tonight. That was great. Shaylin sent $2. Said Alan will be on 2022. Wow. Gonna have to check that out. Red's daughter sent $2 and said you have to see what Microdots released. I'll be going to take a look at that in a second as soon as this is over. Brandy sent $9.99. Hung jury last trial was a blessing in disguise. And I might go check out Microdots. Maybe we'll play that to kick off the show tonight, end off the show. Strange Crudality said €10. Said, I am in Scotland, and this trial made me think about corruption. Justice was served. I cried. Thank you to all of you. Thank you so much for the euros tonight. I love our international viewers. Normal Mom sent $1.99. Said, my boo thing, Auntie Debb, I love you. Thank you, Auntie Debb, for being here. All your fans are kicking in tonight. See what I mean? Auntie Debb people are so generous. KNS sent $4.99. Said, I worry about Karen's safety in Mass. I could see the cops and families continuing to harass her. Would you advise her to move out of state? That's going to be on her. She's going to do what's right for her. I'm not going to pretend to know what's right for Karen Reed. She's a grown woman, as strong as can be. I think she's earned the right to do whatever she wants to do with her life. And that's what I'm looking forward to seeing. What's Karen want to do next? Whatever it is, I'm supporting it. Resurrection of Randy sent $1.99. Said, thank you for all of you. Glamassus is a member for 18 months and says, thanks to all on the panel. You are all amazing. Thank you so much, Glamassus. Full Melt Hash Value says, thanks, Mark, for speaking up for truth and justice. Thank you so much for that, becoming a member. And Please Pass the Pepper said, so proud of you guys, all of you. Thank you, Please Pass the Pepper. Been around for a while. I appreciate you as well. Some random name sent $5 and said, in case the story is true, 5-year-old YouTube video, John Tapitro vents frustration over minor car accident. 3 minutes that will make your day. We'll have to check that one out too. You guys are dropping all the good dirt tonight. Red's daughter said, watch Microdots. We'll check that out in a second. Thank you. Black Kia guy said $49.99. Wow, very generous. Thank you so much. Said you are all great. Amen. So happy for Karen. We are all very happy for Karen. Thank you, Black Kia guy. Nana 1776 says LV cops have such poured in their merchandise processes or donated as well. Yes, LV Las Vegas cops. They have LV Cops TV. It's the official YouTube channel. They have donated money from their merchandise as well to Karen Reed's Defense Fund. Clarity 07 says, don't forget to shout out for Melanie Little. We did definitely shout her out. We did not forget her. Of course not. We love Melanie Little, definitely. Let me grab some water. Now I'm getting the coughs. Mark was starting to get the coughs tonight too. He's had a little bit of allergies, and I've been dealing with them this year too. And Jessica Machado, yes, we got to give her props as well. Congratulations to Jessica Machado, who gave Turtle Boy her journalism court seat. Yes. Congrats to Jessica Machado. Yes, the Proctor interview is on Channel 5 ABC, probably right now, still airing. If people want to watch it. And it will be on Hulu tomorrow night if people want to watch it there. Thank you, Grandma Gaja. Grandma Grimley, say that again. Grandma Gaga. Like Lady Gaga. Grandma Gaga. Thank you. Oh, another great one, Erica Madden. Congratulations to Erica Madden, too. She stepped up. She should definitely feel good about herself. Star Drive-In, she did a number of fundraisers for Karen Reed as well. And she donated $49.99 tonight and said, thank you for everything, Mike. Thank you, Erica Madden, for everything you've done for Karen Reed. check it out. Star Drive-In in Taunton, Massachusetts. Phenomenal establishment that Erica owns and runs with her family. Definitely check it out. Big supporters of Karen Reed, not only here on YouTube, but in real life, in person with their restaurant. And I've heard rave reviews from there. I'm looking forward to someday getting down there to Taunton, Mass, to the Star Drive-In. I'm definitely going to get there someday soon. Thank you, Erica Madden. The Goodman sent $5 and said, Gerbil because of Poker Face, Jimmy. Love the other Goodman. Thank you so much. The Goodmans. Everyone loves Auntie Debb here. See what I mean? He's got some great fans. Daphne Lansborough said $4.99 and said, Mark, did you go to ASU Law School? My brother is an attorney in Arizona. My nephew went to ASU Law School. You know what? I'm not sure. It's a good question. He did go to Arizona State. I'm not sure if it was for, I thought it was for bachelor's. Maybe it was for law school. I should probably have a wrap on his law school where he went. I'm not sure, actually. Thank you for the super chat. Generally, when Mark's on the show, we don't have him answer questions for super chats. He doesn't like to do that. We don't really like to do that as well. So we just read them at the end. If you have any questions and he's on the show, just post it in the free chat. Thank you so much for donating tonight. Kelly, if Chloe bit you, you must have quit. Sent $5 and said, don't even give Furman wannabe the time of day. Views, airtime, should be in Fed custody for framing Karen Reed, not on TV, in my honest opinion, of course. Susie from San Francisco agree. You know, some people might not want to watch Proctor. Maybe you don't want to give it the views. I'm more interested, honestly, everyone's watching Proctor. I want to see what Microdots did. So that's what I'm going to go to first when I get off stream. Is I'm going to go watch Microdots if I don't play it on here. Susie from San Francisco says, we love you, Mazza. She became a new member. She's been a member for a month. Thank you so much, Susie from San Francisco. JRR sent $5 and said, science has no reason to lie, but shady cops like Proctor do. Thank you so much, JRR. Alejandra says, so happy it's over, following you from Uruguay. Wow, I love it. Thank you for sending 30 Uruguay. I love it. That's amazing. Uruguay is beautiful. Thank you for watching from Uruguay. Oblivious Benson sent $5 and said, can we still expect select board updates? Love you, hippie Uncle Mike. And to Runkle, you're the only Canadian that my gun-loving father seems to like. Oblivious Benson, we're going to continue to do tons of updates. We're going to continue to cover this. This isn't over. You know, there's going to be more updates you do, more media attention. There's going to be McMalbert sightings, and there's going to be Turtle Boy. Aiden is on trial. So there's still a little pressure here, but we're going to be covering Select Board. We're going to be covering Ken. We're going to be covering Aiden. We're going to be covering everything, just like we have the entire time. We just may be less so often. Instead of have to be every night, and not as much pressure right now, it's going to be a little more relaxing. I may even take a few days off. Who knows? Megan Easton said, you have all done it. Incredible. It is incredible. It feels really good. Scooter54 sent $5 and said, outstanding content in every respect and every aspect. Thank you so much, Scooter54. Court Junkie Katie R said $49.99. Wow, you folks are so generous tonight. She said, thank you for all you do. But this 2020 is pissing me off. You know what? It doesn't matter anymore. They could piss us off. It doesn't even matter. We won. You know? That's the thing. Some people are sour grapes. It's funny. Some people I'm noticing on Facebook who have never posted about Karen Reed are like, oh, this is so disappointing. It's so funny to see them speak now. It's like, where you been? Where you been? Where you been? And they're like, oh, I'm worried about justice for John O'Keefe. Well, hold Michael Morrissey accountable. Join us. Join the Free Karen Reed people, because that's what we're going to do. We're going to hold Michael Morrissey accountable. That's the biggest thing, to Oblivious. You know I'm not going away. I'm going to be replacing Michael Morrissey in 2026. I am not stopping until Michael Morrissey is out of office. And Aiden Carney is free. So this isn't really over for us. This is just the first major, huge win. It feels good. It's a big victory, but it's not over. Court Junkie Katie, thank you so much. And don't worry about them pissing you off because we won tonight. We won. There's probably more people in Boston watching this show and some of the other YouTube shows than watching that. Court Junkie Katie R. Like someone posted today, they compared like one of the big media outlets, the views that Aiden got compared to the big media outlet. I think it was Court TV covering it. And just Aiden, just one person getting way more views and coverage. So that should tell you everything. Things are changing here. Court Junkie Katie R. Thank you so much. She says, keep insisting that it's true. She hit him. If I could send you a video, I would. It's almost like 2020 is on Proctor's side. I hope I'm wrong, but this is how it appears. Shame on them. You know, I think it's also the deadline thing. They have no idea how it was going to turn out tonight, right? And so they threw this thing last minute. They got the Proctor thing. I don't think they knew how it was going to turn out. Think about it. They don't know how it's going to turn out. This was already prepackaged. I wonder how they probably don't have much time to insert what happened today. And they're probably trying to do that. And there's other pieces. So it does suck. But you know what? It means nothing. It means nothing. The headline everywhere is that Karen was not found guilty of the major crimes that they accused her of. Scooter54 become a YouTube member. Thank you so much, Scooter54. Court Junkie again says, what also makes me mad is that they all had all these old interviews with Karen, and now they're throwing Proctor into the mix. Maybe I'm looking at it wrong, but it's annoying. It is annoying, but that's the way they run. They didn't know how this was going to turn out. You know, so they're putting a special on tonight, and they don't know how the trial's going to turn out. So there's a lot in flow, and definitely they're going to use old shit. And that's what you get. This is the major media that they're looking for eyeballs tonight. I wouldn't get too upset about it. In the end, Karen was found innocent today. Not guilty. J Swiss Miss says $10 and says, thank for all you free Karen Reed work. You're the best. Thank you, J Swiss Miss. Matt Walsh said $9.99 and said a little too late to be included in the case, but nice work by John DePietro proving the defense's case in the parking lot earlier today. That was classic. That was pretty funny to see. Stop the madness at $9.99 and said, cue the duck boats. I know we need, this is what it felt like today. It felt like a championship parade. Whoa. Brenda S says $20 she sent. Thank you, Brenda S. You've been here every day as well. I got to say, to quote JFK, I got to thank my long gamers, the folks who are here every day, the diehards, no matter if I have Bederow on my show or not. I love you. I love you. And please don't go away. Please stick with us. We're going to have a lot more content upcoming. This isn't over by a long run. And TG says, let the losers whine. We know who won and why. A very different future is out ahead of us. It's a world full of jerks. Yes, that's the key. I want to thank all the jerks out there. You did it. You're like, I feel proud. I feel proud. And a lot of it is because of you jerks out there. You made me proud. You did. And I could feel it out in that crowd yesterday and on Friday. I bless you. God bless you all. I'm feeling so good. I'm speechless. I'm like Mazza earlier. Have you ever seen Mazza not be able to come up with his words? You see that with me sometimes when I get a little fired up, and I've never seen that with Mazza. That happened tonight with Mazza. You could tell he was having trouble. He was. All right, I got a few Venmos I want to thank as well tonight. Let's get to the Venmos now, if I can. All right. Lauren W. Lauren W-F sent $9.71 and said, your wonderful Karen Reed coverage. Thank you so much, Lauren. Barbara M sent $20 and said, gift, she is free. Thanks. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you for being a part of this. And Stacy Dela C sent $1.43. Thank you so much. She says free Karen Reed. William V said $75. William, thank you so much. You're a great donator. Thank you so much tonight. It said thanks, Mike. Great job. Thank you, William B. That is much appreciated on the Venmo app. Carrie B. I know Carrie B. She's awesome. She says she's free. I can't thank you enough for all of your coverage. Love, love, love. $50 from Carrie B tonight. Thank you so much, Carrie B. I love you. You're amazing. Thank you for being a part of this movement. Another one who's been around a while too, Kimberly M. She sent $20 for my dentist bill. I missed my. You guys said yesterday on the stream. I forgot I had a. I've been so caught up. I forgot I had a dentist appointment. I had to like reschedule it, and I haven't even rescheduled it. I had to cancel. I'm gonna pay twice as much this time, but you know what? It's all worth it. It doesn't matter. Thank you so much, Kimberly, for kicking in $20 for my dentist bill. She says thanks for all you do. And Amanda H sent 25. It says, thanks for all the work you do. I heard you're on the North Shore too. I'm in Lynn. Young Jerks has been so welcoming, and I'm grateful that you're here having smart conversations and hoping to establish a great future. Thank you so much. That actually, I think, came in last night. I did think I mentioned it last night, but I want to make sure I didn't miss it in case. Thank you so much. And also came in today and tonight. The Rogue Townie just sent $10 tonight on the Cash App and says, thank you, Mike. Much love. Thank you, the Rogue Townie. You're also a great supporter and big part of Free Karen Reed. Another friend of mine on Facebook who I've noticed has been much more Free Karen Reed lately. She was down there. I saw her talking to actually Vinny. I think she was on Court TV actually. Brianna, she says, for thank you and Free Karen Reed. Thank you so much, Brianna. I know she was excited to watch Bederow tonight as well. Thank you, Brianna, for sending $20 earlier today during when we were streaming. Debbie M also sent money this afternoon, $50, and said, your support of Karen Reed. Thank you. You're great. Thank you so much, Debbie M. You're great as well. I really appreciate that. I want to make sure I thank Ashley H. She sent $50 on Friday and said, thank you for all your coverage of the trial. And also on Thursday of last week, I got $10 from Lana. I want to thank her as well. Whew. I think I got them all. I think I'm good. How many of you still watching me read all? I still got like 6,000 people watching me read the donations. That's amazing. I bet some of you like watching me struggle. You're like, oh, yeah, let's watch Mike struggle through all these donations tonight. It was fun. I enjoyed the struggle. All right, I double checked. Cash App done. Venmo done. I think I got all the super chats. And again, I want to thank our mods. I want to thank Bederow. I want to thank Auntie Debb. I want to thank Mazza Media. I want to thank everyone who's been a guest here over the last 2-3 years here. You're amazing. Congratulations to Aiden. Congratulations to Karen Reed, her whole family, Bill Reed, his wife, Janet Reed. Love Janet Reed. I want to thank all of them for being so welcoming. Nathan Reed, his sister Liz, Nick Rocco, and his wife, Jenna Rocco. There's been so many amazing people in this movement, and it's been just an honor to be a part of it. And I really can't thank you enough. And what I want to do now is I want to check microdots. Everyone's been telling me to check out microdots. So I think that's the last thing we'll do tonight. It's just watching microdots together. And I'm a big microdots guy. Not only do I like his work, I like him as a person. I just like Richie. He's such a good guy. And I also think back to especially when I was getting kind of threatened by the KPs of the world. He was right there on the list, and totally, you could tell it never phased him. And it was how calm he was about it and didn't let it phase him. It definitely bled over to me. It gave me like just a little more like, Richie can handle this. You can handle it too. He's been amazing. Congratulations to him. And he's a local. You know me, I love the locals. There it is. Is this have I hope it doesn't have too much music. I don't want to get whacked here tonight. How's this for me? Does it have copyrighted music or not on it? Let's get the free Karen Read. I love this. Yeah, you know what? We're gonna play this to kick it off. How many people want to watch the new Microdots together with us? I think that's how we're gonna kick it off. We're not doing the 2020 Proctor. I don't even want to hear from this guy. I might watch a few clips on Twitter if people cut him up just to see what he says. I'll go watch Turtle Boy, see if he goes over it. I'm definitely gonna go watch Turtle Boy if he's on tonight. I'm sure he will be. But before I do that, I'm gonna go with my boy Microdots, and we're gonna watch his little video that he put out today. And he says, this is the video title. It's "We Did It. Karen Read is free. Thank you. Karen Read is freed. Thank you." And that's how we're going to end it tonight. And then if Aiden's on, we'll redirect you over there as well, because I want to watch Aiden as well. Thank you all. I'm just I'm very excited that this happened. I feel like I can enjoy myself a little more now. As much as we said to keep calm and don't stress, this has been stressful. No doubt about it. Let's effing go, people. You never gave up. You always stood behind us. I can't thank you enough. Sound. I don't know what's up with my sound tonight. Not working. Now you can hear it, but it's only coming in partially. Ah, you know what? Let me hold on one second. Let me just see something. No, I'm not in the wrong Mazza. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know what's up. I don't know if it's StreamYard or what. I tried to play video earlier and it wouldn't play. I've never seen it like this. Maybe it's my computer, but there is something distorted. I just checked to make sure we're on the right system. I don't know. Something's not working tonight with the sound, unfortunately. Auntie Bev has been here since. Yeah, no, it just didn't seem to sound right. Like you could hear some sound in that video, but there's something wrong with StreamYard right now. I don't know what it is. You can only hear. I think it might be my internet as well. I'm having some internet issue. I keep trying to restart it and reboot it. You know what? It's dead. Let's just. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm just going to put it. It's been a long day. Yeah, it has been a long day. Let's just go watch it in the chat. I just dropped the link in the chat for Microdots. We can all watch it there. I'm going to go check it out right now. StreamYard's not working for the audio and the video right now. I guess Melanie Little also had the similar issues today. So we'll just watch it directly on YouTube. Click on it. Richie will get all the views. That's better for Richie and Microdots anyway. So let's just do it old school. Let's just go watch it and finish our day that way. I want to thank you all again. Have a great night. Keep your head up. Feel very proud if you're part of this movement. We made a difference, and we're going to make even more of a difference for Aiden. And Aiden's, like Mark Bederow said tonight, Aiden's case means even more to more of us because it affects more people. So, again, this isn't quite over. Let's free Aiden Carney next. I'll see you all very soon. Not sure when. Take a few days. Enjoy this. Enjoy this moment. Think about how much we sacrificed, how much we took on, and what we all did for each other. We all boosted each other. When one was down, we brought each other up, right? And how many of us came together? How many of us YouTubers came together and supported each other with our shows and our fundraising? I've got lifelong friends from this now. I've met Mazza Media. I got Mark Bederow, Aiden Carney. So many people I've met through this. Mazza was saying some of the names tonight. Jen Altman. I can't wait to have Jen Altman on the show. Maybe that's what I'll do tomorrow night. I'll just beg Jen Altman to come on my show because I want to have a show with Jen. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to so much upcoming too. Have a great night, everyone. We'll see you soon. We'll see you when we see you. But again, enjoy this, celebrate it, recognize, and keep your heart open for things like this. You know, I am so happy that I didn't let this slide by. That I sent the message to Aiden, said, hey, you know what, Aiden? I want to help on this. I want to get involved in this, Karen Reed. Will you come on my show? I know some liberals are going to be mad at me for having you on my show, but I don't care because this is what I want to support. I want to support Karen Reed. And Aiden Carney, you're the dude doing it. And sometimes we have to look beyond the box, look outside the box. And I'm so glad I did that. And I'm so glad that Mark Bederow has come on the show over and over again. And that Mazza Media gave up his time over and over again. And I'm glad for the shows like LTL and all the other ones we named today. Nurse Kim, they were the early adopters. I'm glad that we've all been on this for 2 trials now. LTL especially. Mazza Media. Aiden Carney. I'll see you soon. Oh, man. Thank you. Have a great night. We'll see you soon. Be proud. We did something. We did something you never see. This was like once in a lifetime thing. Hopefully we can do this again. Be proud. Enjoy this moment. We'll see you soon.